The reports did not stop coming. Scrolls, crystal projections, and messenger ascendants flooded Obsidian Gate with the same message repeated in countless forms. The flow was breaking. Kairos stood before the central projection chamber as shifting images of distant territories flickered into existence. Rivers of spiritual energy twisted unnaturally through the air. Ascension gates flickered, some dimming, others flaring violently as if rejecting their own foundations. Othis isna T random, Kairos said quietly. Arahan Vale stood beside him, hands clasped behind his back. His expression was grave in a way Kairos had never seen before. Oino. Veiros Malvin is forcing the world to change faster than it can adapt. Leora folded her arms, eyes sharp. Oia S destabilizing the baseline. Gold tier techniques are failing because the environment they rely on is no longer consistent. Arindor nodded. Oic means weaker ascendants are being crushed under pressure they were never meant to endure. The chamber doors opened. A new presence entered the room. She was tall, broad-shouldered, clad in layered armor etched with sigils older than Obsidian Gate itself. Her hair was bound in silver braids, her gaze steady and unflinching. This is why the Concord has finally broken its silence, she said. Arahan turned slightly. High Warden Murren Kale. You came sooner than expected. Kairos stiffened. The Ascendant Concord a trans-gate authority spoken of more as myth than reality rarely intervened directly. Morena S eyes shifted to Kairos. Assessing. Weighing. You are Kairos Valen, she said. Not a question. The resonant ascendant. Kairos inclined his head. If the titles matter. The Danao. She gestured to the projections. Because Veiros Malvin is no longer simply disrupting ascension. He is attempting to rewrite it. Silence fell. Murren continued. Across the world, ancient fault lineas what we call material conduits are awakening. Places where reality, relics, and intent converge. Veiros is activating them. Arindor frowned. Oto what end? Oto create a new tier. Murren replied. One not governed by gates. One not restrained by balance. Kairos felt a chill crawl up his spine. Beyond gold tier. He asked. Murren met his gaze. Beyond ascendant. They descended into Obsidian Gate S deepest archive lower than Kairos had ever been allowed. Here, the air felt heavy. Not oppressive, but old. Crystalline tablets hovered in slow orbit, each etched with names. These are the broken ascendants, Murren said. Those who attempted to rise without harmony. Kairos reached out, stopping just short of touching one. What happened to them? The surpassed gold tier power. Arahan answered, voice low. But lost cohesion. Their limit breaks overwhelmed their identities. Leora frowned. Re-saying Veiros wants to repeat that. Oino. Murren said softly. Wants to control it. Another figure stepped forward from the shadows. A young man, not much older than Kairos, his left arm replaced by a lattice of glowing material veins. His eyes shimmered faintly with fractured resonance. Othis is Kylam Reese, Murren said. A survivor. Kaluma S voice was calm, but hollow. Oi ascended once. Briefly. Then the world stopped making sense. Kairos felt it immediately Kaluma S energy wasna T unstable. It was incomplete. There are layers beyond harmonic and resonant ascension, Kylam continued. But they demand anchors. People, principles. Without them, you dissolve. The implication hit hard. Kairos glanced at Leora, at Arindor. Anchors. The alarm sounded before questions could be asked. Not Obsidian Gate S internal. Alarm. A world alarm. A material conduit had fully awakened. Location. Ashkara Vale. Status. Collapse imminent. Arahan turned sharply. That Vale holds over 50,000 civilians. Murren drew her weapon a spear humming with layered resonance. Then this is no longer preparation. Ida S intervention. Kairos stepped forward, limit break stirring instinctively not flaring, but aligning. Send us. Arahan hesitated only a moment before nodding. Kairos. Leora, Arindor, Kaluma Ua re going with them. A euro Kylam looked up sharply. A euro oh you trust me. A euro Arahana euro's gaze was unwavering. A euro oi trust what you learned by surviving. A euro the teleportation circle ignited. As light consumed them, Kairos felt Ida euro, something vast, shifting, watching. Not just Veyros. Something older. Something that had been waiting for ascension to fracture. They emerged into chaos. The sky above Ashkara Vale was split by glowing fractures. Stone structures hovered, half melted into streams of raw material energy. Screams echoed through the air as reality itself bent and snapped. A euro o at least 3 resonance anomalies, A euro Arindor said rapidly. A euro o1 central a euro, massive. A euro Kairos felt it. A material sovereign was forming. Leora vanished instantly, reappearing atop a collapsing tower, guiding civilians toward evacuation routes. Kylam raised his altered arm, veins blazing. A euro oi can slow the collapse euro, but only briefly. A euro oh then we buy time, A euro Kairos said. He stepped forward, harmonic ascension unfolding a euro, then pushing further. Not forcing, listening, the material around him responded. For the first time, Kairos did not impose balance. He negotiated it. The ground stabilized beneath his feet. The storm hesitated, and far away, across dimensions and shadows, Veyros Malvin felt Ida euro, and smiled. A euro oh good, A euro he whispered. A euro oh a euro s reached the threshold. A euro the ground beneath Kairos a euro s feet did not simply stabilize. It resisted him. At first, the resistance was subtle a euro, a low vibration traveling up through his boots, into his legs, settling uncomfortably behind his sternum. Harmonic ascension responded instinctively, tuning itself to the flow of material energy surging through Ashkara Vale. Normally, that would have been enough. It was na euro t. This is na euro t chaos, Kairos realized. Ida euro s will. The material around him did not behave like an unthinking force. Stone twisted with intention, air thickened as if bracing itself. Even the fractured sky seemed to lean inward, watching him the way a wounded animal watches an approaching hand a euro, ready to flee, or to bite. A euro o Kairos, A euro Arindor said, voice tight through the calm crystal. A euro o conduit is na euro t just destabilizing. Ida euro s forming a feedback identity. A euro e a proto-sovereign, A euro Kylam added grimly. His altered arm glowed brighter, the lattice of material veins crawling up his shoulder like living circuitry. A euro if it finishes cohering, the veil won't a euro t collapse. Ida euro ll rewrite itself. A euro Leora reappeared beside Kairos in a ripple of shadow, her breath quick but controlled. Dust streaked her face. A euro o evacuation is halfway complete. But people are panicking. The ground a euro saw euro changing under them. A euro Kairos closed his eyes. He could feel it now a euro, countless small points of fear echoing through the environment. Emotion bleeding into matter, intention hardening into structure. For the first time since his limit break had awakened, Kairos felt something push back not with power, but with judgment. Do you belong here? The question wasn't a euro t spoken. It was implied, woven into the pressure of the world itself. He exhaled slowly. A euro Etzelum, A euro Kairos said, without opening his eyes. A euro oh how did you survive your ascent? A euro a pause. A euro oi stopped trying to dominate it, A euro Kylam answered quietly. A euro oi asked what it needed. A euro Kairos opened his eyes. Then he lowered his blade. The motion felt wrong on instinct. Every lesson drilled into him a euro, from silver tier upward a euro, screamed that lowering Oni a euro's weapon in a volatile zone was suicide. But harmonic ascension shifted as his intent changed, its resonance deepening rather than flaring. The material current hesitated. Kairos stepped forward, unarmed, and placed his palm against the fractured ground. Pain flared instantly a euro, sharp, invasive, like splinters of cold thought piercing his skin. Images bled into his mind. Centuries of strain, conduits exploited, relics torn from their resting places, ascendants forcing harmony instead of earning it. A euro Othis veil has been used, A euro Kairos murmured. A euro o over and over. A euro the ground shuddered. Leora tensed, shadows tightening around her like coiled serpents. A euro o Kairos a euro oi no, A euro he said softly. A euro oh just a euro trust me. A euro he pushed deeper. Not with force, with acknowledgement. A euro oi won't a euro t bind you, A euro he whispered, voice barely audible beneath the storm. A euro oi won't a euro t claim you. But people live here, they don't a euro t deserve to be broken because others were greedy. A euro the pressure intensified. For a moment, Kairos thought the world would reject him outright. Then a euro, something shifted. Not submission, consideration. Kylam staggered. Arindor caught him just before he collapsed, dragging him behind a half-stabilized energy barrier. A euro ou a euro re-overextending. A euro Arindor snapped. A euro ou your lattice cane a euro t take this strain. A euro Kylam laughed weakly. A euro o that a euro s what they said the first time too. A euro his altered arm pulsed erratically, veins flickering between brilliance and near darkness. The material within him resonated with the forming sovereign in the Valet a euro, sympathy and rejection tangled together. A euro oi can feel it. A euro Kylam continued, voice strained. A euro eat a euro s not trying to destroy anything. Ida euro s trying to decide what it is. A euro Arindor frowned. A euro o worlds shouldn't a euro t have identity crises. A euro o they do when people keep carving them up for power. A euro across the veil, Leora guided the last wave of civilians onto a stabilized platform. A child clung to her cloak, eyes wide, staring at the sky like it might fall at any moment. A euro o is the ground angry. A euro the child asked. Leora hesitated. A euro o eyes. A euro she said finally. A euro o but not at you. A euro the child nodded solemnly, as if that explanation made perfect sense. When Leora looked back toward Kairos, she felt it too a euro, the difference in his stance, in the way the storm curved around him instead of crashing into him. Hey a euro s not fighting it, she realized. Hey a euro s standing with it. A memory surfaced unbidden. Her first meeting with Kairos, when his limit break had been wild, blazing, barely contained. Power without context. Strength without patience. He was different now, and that difference scared her more than his raw power ever had. The central fracture widened. From it rose a Shapea euro, not a body, not yet, but a presence. The air bent around a slowly forming core of condensed material will. Stone, ash, memory, fear a euro, compressed into something that might one day think. A material sovereign, unfinished. Arindor swore under his breath. A euro if that completes, Concord protocols demand containment or erasure. A euro Kairos didn't a euro t look back. A euro oh not yet. A euro o Kairos, listen to me. A euro Arindor pressed. A euro o once a sovereign stabilizes, it becomes a geopolitical entity. Borders shift, treaties collapse, people die in the aftermath. A euro Kairos swallowed. A euro oi no. A euro he stepped closer to the forming core, harmonic ascension sliding toward something new a euro, something that felt less like a technique and more like a state of being. A euro am not here to crown it. A euro he said. A euro am here to keep it from being born angry. A euro the presence surged. For an instant, Kairos felt himself pulled apart a euro, every doubt, every fear, every unresolved question about ascension dragged to the surface. You will leave, the pressure implied. They always do. Kairos thought of Obsidian Gate. Of Lyra a euro's quiet vigilance. Of Arindor a euro's relentless calculations. Of Kalum a euro's broken survival. A euro oino, a euro he said, voice shaking but firm. A euro oi won a euro t. A euro and for the first time since the storm began, the veil grew quiet. Not stable, not safe, but listening. Far beyond Obsidian Gate, where even the faintest light struggled to reach, a chamber of ancient design pulsed with restrained energy. Crystal conduits spiraled into the air, each humming with vibrations that mirrored the rhythm of a living heart. Here, Veyros Malvin moved like a shadow through a maze of relics, his fingers brushing against devices that whispered in tongues older than Ascension itself. A euro o but listening a euro he murmured, stopping abruptly. His voice carried no fear, only calculation. A euro o everything listens. Every thought, every pulse of power, every choice made by those who call themselves ascendants. And they will answer, whether they know it or not. A euro a figure emerged from the darkness. Malith, the Veil Keeper, an operative whose mastery over sound and vibration rivaled even Verona Euro's spatial manipulation. Her presence distorted the air, a subtle warping that made the room feel like it existed in two places at once. A euro o they a euro ve learned too quickly. A euro Malith said, her voice a low hum that seemed to resonate inside Veyros a euro's skull rather than just his ears. A euro o Kairos a euro he moves like a conductor now. The relics, the shadow dimension a euro they a euro ve become one with him. And yet a euro he is still inexperienced. A euro Veyros a euro's eyes glimmered, reflecting the energy streams around him. A euro inexperienced, yes a euro, but that is why the storm must escalate. Lessons without consequence leave no mark. The boy must understand a euro fully, painfully, what ascension demands. The shadow sect cannot falter now. A euro another figure stepped forward. Talvin, the strategist, whose calculations and foresight were enhanced by fragments of stolen relic energy. He projected multiple holographic battlefields simultaneously, each a scenario of Kairos, Leora, and Arindor at different stages of conflict. A euro Oir, a euro Talvin said, pointing at one simulation. A euro Oe has begun harmonizing with the Relix a euro Currents a euro, far beyond gold tier. But he is predictable under pressure, reliant on synchronization. Disrupt the triad, and their flow collapses. That is where we strike. A euro Veros nodded. A euro Ois. But we will not strike blindly. There is a deeper game at play. Harmonic ascension a euro resonant ascension a euro each evolution brings them closer to understanding the very nature of relic energy. We must create a crucible where power, knowledge, and morality collide. Only then will the storm truly begin. A euro Malith a euro S eyes glimmered with violet light. A euro Oi will prepare the echo labyrinth. It will bend thought and will itself. Kairos will not simply fight a euro, he will question everything he believes. And some answers a euro will cost him dearly. A euro Veros turned toward the immense window overlooking the fractured lands below. Floating islands swirled with residual relic energy from the Obsidian spire. The air shimmered as if reality itself was holding its breath. A euro Oivory ascendant who has transcended gold tier, a euro Veros whispered, a euro O has faced a choice. Not just of power a euro, but of principle, of consequence, of sacrifice. Kairos is nearing that threshold. Soon, he will see the first true test of the storm, the ascension crucible. A euro Talvine a euro S holograms shifted, showing realms twisted by spiritual energy, regions where the physical laws bent, fractured, or reversed entirely. A euro O this is where he will encounter them. A euro he said. A euro E-operatives, relics, and trials designed not to kill him a euro but to make him doubt, to make him hesitate, to make him choose. One wrong decision, and the cascade begins. Entire ascendant territories could fall. A euro Malith knelt by a relic pulsating with black gold energy. A euro Oe will hear the whispers, see the illusions, confront versions of himself he cannot reconcile. He will be tested a euro and only those with the courage to act beyond fear will endure. A euro Veros smiled, a shadow of satisfaction curling at the edges of his expression. A euro O let him rise. Let him transcend gold tier, if he can. But every step, every breath, will bring him closer to the truth I have prepared. The storm is coming, and when it strikes, the ascension itself will quake. A euro outside the chamber, in the fractured skies above the midnight expanse, a ripple of energy traced across the horizon. It was subtle, almost imperceptible a euro, but to those who listen, it was a warning, the game had begun, and the pieces were moving. Somewhere, far from the watchful eyes of Veros, Kairos a euro's pulse resonated with the scepter of Velfire. He could not yet sense the full scope of what awaited him, but he knew one truth with absolute clarity. Beyond gold tier, the storms were no longer of power a euro, they were of choice, consequence, and fate. And the first gust had already begun to blow. The air shimmered like liquid fire as Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stepped through the portal left by the remnants of the Obsidian spire. The landscape that greeted them was unlike any battlefield they had faced. The ground folded in impossible angles, rivers flowed upward, and shadows moved independently, whispering secrets in languages Kairos felt he almost understood. A euro Othis a euro this isn't a euro T just a place, a euro Leora said, her voice trembling with both awe and caution. A euro Ida euro S alive. Ida euro S testing us before we even step forward. A euro Arindor a euro S eyes scanned the horizon, energy lines tracing through the chaotic terrain. A euro O the ascension crucible a euro Veros doesn't a euro T just want to fight us. He wants to see how we react when the world itself fights back. A euro a deep, resonant tone filled the air. From the shifting horizon emerged a figure cloaked in rippling shadows a euro, Orvith, the sentinel of judgment, an ascendant whose powers defied conventional limits. Orvith a euro's presence distorted the battlefield itself. Every step he took caused the terrain to twist, and energy currents pulsed in synchrony with his heartbeat. A euro O you have come, a euro Orvith intoned, his voice echoing from every direction. A euro Odo face the crucible. Here, gold tier is meaningless. Power alone will not suffice. To serve of a euro you must understand the threads that bind thought, intention, and reality. A euro Kairos gripped the scepter of Velfire, feeling its pulse synchronize with the chaotic energies around him. A euro Oave a euro re-ready, a euro he said, though the weight of the words pressed down heavily. A euro vase survived impossible odds before a euro, but this is something new. A euro Orvith raised a hand, and the battlefield erupted. Floating shards of reality split the ground into hundreds of fractal planes, each a reflection of a possible outcome. Shadows of themselves emerged from the planes a euro, versions of Kairos, Leora, and Arindor shaped by fear, doubt, and indecision. A euro these are your first trials, a euro Orvith said. A euro face yourself, or be consumed by the crucible. Every hesitation, every mistake, will feed the world around you. Fail, and you do not simplify a euro, you fracture, and the ascension you know dies with you. A euro Lyra a euro's shadow resonance flared as she mirrored Kairos a euro's movements, ready to shield him from the illusions. Arindor extended his hands, stabilizing floating debris and redirecting rogue energy surges that threatened to sweep the trio into oblivion. Kairos took a deep breath and centered himself. Drawing on harmonic ascension, he reached not only into the battlefield but into the fractured echoes of himself. His pulse extended into the spectral versions of him, resonating with their energy, their fear, their hesitation. A euro oh you a euro re not me, a euro he whispered to the first shadow, a euro oh but you a euro re part of me. I accept you a euro, and I rise above you. A euro energy flared, a shockwave that synchronized the planes for a fraction of a moment, giving the trio footing and clarity. Orvith a euro's eyes glimmered with approval. A euro oh good. Understanding is the first step. But comprehension alone is not enough. A euro from the fractured skies, a new threat emerged. Zephyra, the gale of doubt, a being capable of warping perception itself. Her attacks twisted the trio a euro's senses, making allies appear as enemies and attacks loop back upon themselves. Kairos realized brute strength could not defeat Hera Euro, only perception and synchronized intuition could. Channeling resonant ascension, Kairos merged the energy of the scepter with Leora and Arindor Euro's combined limit breaks. The battlefield responded, revealing the true forms beneath Zephyra Euro's illusions and stabilizing the fractal planes. With precise timing, Leora struck, Arindor reinforced the energy flows, and Kairos delivered a harmonic pulse that scattered the gale of doubt. The first trial was a Vera Euro, but the crucible was only beginning. A voice echoed from the void between dimensions. A euro oh good a euro but survival here is not the goal. Ascension beyond gold tier is measured not by victory, but by the clarity of your choices, the resilience of your spirit, and the harmony you can forge with forces beyond comprehension. A euro Kairos felt the pulse of the scepter resonate with a deeper truth. Beyond power, beyond energy manipulation, there lay a path defined by moral clarity, intuition, and foresight. He looked at Leora and Arindor. A euro oave a euro vade past the first wave, a euro he said, voice steady. A euro oh but the crucible is endless. Every step will demand more than strength. Every choice a euro could define ascension itself. A euro in the shadows, Veros Malvin observed through interdimensional lenses. A smile curled across his lips. A euro oh yes a euro let them struggle. Let them rise. But soon, the crucible will present choices no mortal heart can bear, and Thena euro the storm will truly begin. A euro the fractured landscape of the ascension crucible stretched endlessly, each plane shifting unpredictably. Shadows of the trio a euro's past victories and failures hovered around them, flickering like memories trying to rewrite themselves. A low, resonant hum vibrated through the air. From the fractured skies descended Thalis, the weaver of fates, an ascendant whose mastery lay in choice and consequence. Her form shimmered between possibilities, sometimes appearing as a young girl, sometimes as an older sage, each version radiating a different energy. A euro oh you have survived the illusions of doubt and perception, a euro Thalis said, her voice a kaleidoscope of tones. A euro oh now you must confront the echo of choice. Every decision you make here will ripple outward, shaping realities you cannot yet see. Choose wisely, or everything you hold dear may unravel. A euro before them, three paths manifested, the path of sacrifice a euro, a corridor engulfed in flames, representing a challenge where someone must give up a portion of their limit break to stabilize the crucible. The path of temptation a euro, a glowing hall where every relic and power Kairos had ever desired awaited, tempting the mind to overreach. The path of shadow a euro, a mirror realm where the trio faced corrupted versions of themselves, each echo seeking to exploit their deepest fears. Kairos exchanged a glance with Leora and Arindor. A euro oh face more than combat here, a euro he said. A euro oh face the test of judgment itself. A euro step 1, the path of sacrifice Kairos and Arindor approached first. The Corridora Euro's flames licked at the edges of their limit breaks, threatening to overwhelm them. The scepter of Velfire pulsed violently, as if warning him of a cost. Kairos realized, to stabilize the crucible, he must willingly diminish his energy temporarily, creating a vulnerability that could be exploited by Thalis. LL go first, Kairos said, channeling his energy into a controlled release, allowing the flames to consume a fraction of his limit break without losing himself. The corridor stabilized, the path forward glowing steadily. Arindor followed, redirecting his own energy to reinforce Kairos' sacrifice. Leora, watching, whispered, a strength without restraint can destroy more than enemies. You learned that, Kairos. Step 2, the path of temptation. Next, the trio faced the Hall of Glittering Power. Relics from every conquered battlefield, every legendary limit break technique, hovered in ethereal displays. Kairos felt the pull of the scepter intensify, his mind was flooded with visions of ultimate power, victories over foes yet unseen. A voice murmured, seductive and soft, this power could be yours if only you take it. Leora shook her head. S an illusion. Focus on what matters. Harnessing harmonic ascension, Kairos synchronized not just with the relics but with his intent, recognizing that the power on display was hollow without control, without understanding. They passed the hall not by grasping at it, but by acknowledging the limits of what they should wield. Step 3. The path of shadow. Finally, the mirror realm manifested. Twisted reflections of Kairos, Leora, and Arindor attacked with knowledge of every move, every tactic, every flaw. Each attack was designed to break trust and incite fear. Kairos faced a shadow of himself that whispered doubts about protecting others, about his ability to gold tier. Lyra's shadow resonance intertwined with Kairos' energy, grounding them. They are echoes, not reality. Trust yourself and us. Arindor projected stabilizing conduits, keeping the battlefield from fracturing under the pressure of fear. Using resonant ascension, Kairos harmonized with the energy of his allies and the environment, turning the shadow attacks back into energy that reinforced their positions. The mirrored illusions shattered, leaving the trio victorious but drained. Thalis' voice echoed from all directions. You have passed the echo of choice, but the crucible is not yet done. Beyond this lies the trial of harmony and judgment. A challenge where your limit breaks, your understanding, and your morality will be tested simultaneously. Fail there, and the ascension beyond gold tier remains forever closed. Kairos steadied himself, feeling the pulse of the scepter synchronize with his heart. They survived impossible trials so far but Thalis is right. The next step will demand more than power or skill. It will demand wisdom, judgment, and harmony with everything around us. From the void above, a new silhouette appeared, a figure cloaked in energy that flickered like a storm. Veyron, returning, his presence amplified by the crucible itself. You have passed this far, he said, his voice distorted by the dimension. But beyond this, you face the path that no gold tier ascendant has ever survived intact. Are you ready to see the cost of true ascension? Kairos gripped the scepter tighter. Ready. Whatever comes next we face it together. The crucible responded, folding the landscape into a vortex of light and shadow. Pulling them toward the trial of harmony and judgment. The vortex of the crucible deposited Kairos, Leora, and Arindor onto a fractured plane of impossibly vast crystal spires. Each spire reflected multiple realities, some where the trio had already failed, others where victory was hollow and pyrrhic. The air was thick with spiritual resonance, vibrating with potential and consequence. At the center of the plane floated a colossal construct, a prism of energy and shadow. The arbiter of ascension, a sentient manifestation of judgment itself. Its voice was everywhere and nowhere. Limit, choice, consequence. Each ascendant. Strength is meaningless if harmony and judgment are absent. To proceed, you must prove your understanding of power and responsibility. Only those who can balance both may rise beyond gold tier. Step 1. The test of unity. The arbiter split the plane into 3 parallel realms, each reflecting a distorted version of the trio's past experiences. Kairos faced a battlefield where allies fell despite his limit break, forcing him to confront the consequences of overreaching power. Leora navigated illusions where her shadow resonance caused harm to innocent lives, questioning whether control without empathy was true mastery. Arindor confronted simulations where tactical brilliance could not prevent moral compromises, testing his judgment. Kairos realized brute strength would not suffice. Using harmonic ascension, he linked with Leora and Arindor, synchronizing their limit breaks with intention and morality. Energy rippled through the spires, harmonizing the parallel realms and demonstrating that unity and foresight were as vital as raw power. Step 2. The test of sacrifice. The Arbiter then projected the ultimate temptation. Each ascendant could achieve unlimited power if they abandoned their companions or the moral restrictions that had guided them. Relics and limit break enhancements floated within reach, glowing with irresistible energy. Kairos felt the Septera Euro's pulse quicken, showing him visions of ultimate strength, a power that could instantly crush Veyron or even Veyros Malvin. But the Energia Euro's surge carried a Costa Euro, loss of self, loss of trust, corruption of intention. Leora whispered, "A Euro O power alone is meaningless if it destroys what we protect." A Euro Arindor added, "A Euro O judgment and restraint are what separate a true ascendant from a tyrant." A Euro together, they rejected the temptation, channeling their limit breaks into the central spire. Their combined energies stabilized the prism, proving that sacrifice for harmony was stronger than selfish gain. Step 3. The test of judgment. Finally, the Arbiter forced the trio to confront a vision of the Ascension hierarchy in chaos. Relics misused, territories destabilized, and innocence caught in the crossfire of ambition. The vision showed that even a perfect victory against Veyros could lead to catastrophe if judgment was flawed. Kairos stepped forward, scepter of Velfire in hand, focusing not on destruction but balance. He applied resonant ascension, integrating not just power, but intent, ethics, and consequence. Leora and Arindor synchronized with him, channeling energy through the Prisma Euro's fractures. The prism began to glow with golden light, resonating with the trio. A Euro's limit breaks in perfect harmony. A harmonic chord rang through the crucible, a signal that they had passed the Arbitera Euro's ultimate test. Ascension beyond gold. The Arbitera Euro's form solidified into a radiant figure, acknowledging their achievement. A Euro O power without understanding is fleeting. Judgment without harmony is hollow. You have transcended gold tier, but the path ahead is perilous. Veyros. A Euro's storm approaches, and the ascension ladder beyond this point is a trial that will define not just strength, but morality, vision, and unity. A Euro. In that moment, Kairos felt his limit break evolve. Harmonic ascension became luminous convergence, allowing him to merge with ambient spiritual currents, relic energies, and even the thoughts and intentions of trusted allies. The trio. A Euro's synchronization reached a new apex. From the shadows of the crucible, Veyron observed, his aura now fused with the energy of the realm itself. A Euro. So a Euro. The boy surpasses gold tier. A Euro, he said, voice laced with awe and calculation. A Euro. Oh, but the storm is coming, and it will demand more than power or unity. Soon, the ascension of all realms will hinge upon choices they cannot yet fathom. A Euro. Kairos, holding the scepter of Velfire aloft, felt the weight of future battles pressing on him, but also the resolve to face them. A Euro. Oave. A Euro. Ve risen beyond gold tier. A Euro, he said. A Euro. Oh, whatever comes, we face it together, with judgment, unity, and strength. A Euro. The crucible shuddered, folding its realms into a gateway leading outward. A Euro, a threshold toward the true storm, the ultimate test orchestrated by Veyros Malvin, where the fate of ascension itself would be decided. The air over Obsidian Gate was heavy with charged energy. The relics recovered from the Obsidian Spire pulsed faintly, each beat resonating like a heartbeat in Kairos. A Euro's limit break. He walked through the halls alongside Leora and Arindor, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on their shoulders. Arahan Vale had convened a council of ascendants, their expressions grim. A Euro. Shadow sect is no longer merely testing us. A Euro, he said. A Euro. They are restructuring the spiritual currents of the world itself. Gold tier mastery is insufficient. You three have grown beyond it, but the next phase. A Euro, the true storm. A Euro, will challenge everything you know. A Euro. Kairos frowned. A Euro. A true storm. A Euro. Vale. A Euro's eyes darkened. A Euro. Veyros has begun an ascension event unlike any before. He is channeling relics across multiple territories, weaving a network of corrupted spiritual currents. When complete, this storm will make even gold tier limit breaks unstable. It is not just a battle. A Euro, it is a test of survival, judgment, and the very nature of ascendant power. A Euro. Before Kairos could respond, alarms echoed through the gate. Screens illuminated the corridors with chaotic energy surges. Territories once stable now flickered with unstable light, and entire cities were suspended mid-collapse as rogue spiritual energy rippled outward. Leora tightened her grip on her shadow blades. A Euro. A Euro's starting sooner than expected. A Euro. Arindor. A Euro's brow furrowed. A-Euro-O need to act fast. If the current's arena Euro-T stabilized, these regions could become uninhabitable A-Euro or worse, collapse entirely into the shadow dimension. A-Euro the trio deployed immediately. As they traveled, Kairos could feel the intensity of the spiritual currents A-Euro, the pulse of the relics resonating like a chorus of warning bells. The landscape was fragmented. Floating continents collided, rivers of energy flowed in reverse, and skies churned with violent storms of spiritual matter. Their first encounter was in the ruins of Silurian City, where Varos A-Euro's elite had set traps using newly discovered relics. One operative, Caliph, the storm binder, manipulated wind currents infused with spiritual energy, creating tornadoes capable of displacing entire buildings. Kairos merged harmonic ascension with the recovered relics, stabilizing the terrain just enough to allow coordinated movement. Lyra A-Euro's shadow resonance countered Caliph A-Euro's manipulations, while Arindor formed energy conduits to redirect the spiritual winds. But the real challenge came in the form of mental strain. The true storm amplified fear, doubt, and hesitation. Each ascendant was confronted by visions of failure. Leora faced spectral projections of teammates lost to miscalculations, Arindor relived tactical errors that had doomed countless missions, and Kairos confronted the potential annihilation of every person he had sworn to protect. The trio pushed through by linking their minds through harmonic ascension, creating a shared anchor of focus. By synchronizing thought and intention, they could resist the psychological assaults while countering physical threats. As they advanced, a new figure emerged. Myelthas, the Rift Architect, a gold-tier ascendant whose mastery over dimensional energy rivaled even Verona Euros. Myelthas bent the terrain itself, creating infinite corridors and folding battlefields within battlefields. Every strike had to account for shifting gravity, warped space, and fractured timelines. Kairos realized the only way to survive was to evolve harmonic ascension further. He reached deeper, achieving resonant convergence, a technique that allowed him to harmonize not just with spiritual currents or relics, but with the energy of allies, enemies, and the environment simultaneously A-Euro, essentially predicting and shaping the flow of battle in real time. Together, the trio pushed Myelthas to retreat, but the true storm A-Euro's effects were spreading faster than anticipated. Entire regions were on the brink of collapse. Kairos understood. The storm was not just a test, it was a countdown. Varos Malvin intended to reshape the Ascension hierarchy entirely, and time was running out. Returning to Obsidian Gate, Kairos addressed the council. A-Euro true storm is active across multiple territories. If we do not stabilize it, the Ascension world could fracture. We need more than limit breaks A-Euro, we need coordination, insight, and mastery beyond gold tier. A-Euro Arahan Vale nodded gravely. A-Euro prepare yourselves. Varos will escalate. This is only the beginning of the true storm. Soon, you will face challenges that will not only test power and technique, but your judgment, morality, and understanding of Ascension itself. Choices you make will echo across dimensions. A-Euro Kairos felt the pulse of the relics in his hand. A-Euro gold tier is the threshold. A-Euro he said quietly. A-Euro but now A-Euro we must rise beyond A-Euro, or everything will fall. A-Euro in the distance, Varos Malvin observed the cascading chaos, a faint smile curling across his lips. A-Euro storm begins A-Euro and the boy still does not comprehend what awaits him. Every lesson, every choice A-Euro, every limit A-Euro will be challenged. Let the true storm shape him. A-Euro the true storm had spread beyond control. From Obsidian Gate, Kairos, Leora, and Arindor surveyed the territories now writhing under chaotic spiritual currents. Cities floated in disarray, forests twisted into impossible geometries, and entire seas shimmered with energy too intense to touch. Kairos A-Euro's pulse synced with the relics they carried. Each artifact whispered warnings, their energies reacting to the surrounding chaos. A-Euro can feel the storm intensifying. A-Euro he said, eyes narrowed. A-Euro eat A-Euro's not just localized A-Euro, Varos is linking every relic he can reach. Hey A-Euro's creating a global lattice of energy. A-Euro Lyra A-Euro's voice was steady but tense. A-Euro can A-Euro T just fight it physically. The storm itself thinks. It adapts. Every attack, every countermeasure A-Euro, it learns from us. A-Euro Arindor adjusted the alignment of their relics, forming a temporary stabilization grid. A-Euro Oave A-Euro LL need to work with the storm, not against it. Harmonic ascension and resonant convergence can anchor use A-Euro, but only if we push past our limits. A-Euro their first mission took them to Cathera Plateau, where the terrain had folded into jagged spires suspended over an abyss of swirling energy. There, they encountered Veilric, the temporal shard, an ascendant capable of accelerating or decelerating time within localized zones. Entire blocks of the plateau froze mid-fall, while other sections collapsed at impossible speeds. Kairos took a deep breath. O need a new strategy. Ascendant flow alone won't cut it. Leora, link your shadow resonance to me. Arindor, expand the grid LL channel resonant convergence into the storm itself. The battle began. Kairos manipulated the spiritual currents around the falling spires, harmonizing his energy with the ambient chaos to stabilize sections of the plateau. Leora mirrored his movements, her shadows moving in perfect counterbalance to the storm's unpredictable shifts. Arindor redirected rogue energy currents, forming protective bridges that allowed them to advance. Veilric struck, splitting time in bursts, forcing Kairos to experience multiple versions of attacks simultaneously. But with resonant convergence, Kairos harmonized with each temporal pulse, predicting shifts before they fully manifested. Leora amplified his perception, and Arindor stabilized the battlefield long enough to isolate Veilric. The temporal shard fell but the true storm had already adapted. As they pressed forward, the plateau itself began to twist violently, creating impossible angles, voids, and surfaces that defied physics. Kairos realized this was Veros ultimate design, a battlefield that was itself an opponent. They advanced to the Crimson Rift, a canyon filled with relic-induced lightning storms. Here, another elite awaited. Solera, the Void Weaver, capable of creating pockets of null energy that cancelled limit breaks temporarily. Every step forward risked losing their powers entirely. Kairos adjusted his approach. Anchor our energy to each other, not the environment, he said. Harmonic ascension must become a chain, a living circuit. If one falls, the others can stabilize them. The trio moved as one, their energies forming a luminous lattice that cut through Solera null zones. Kairos felt his limit break push into uncharted territory. Harmonic ascension now resonated not only with the battlefield and relics but with the very intentions of the adversaries. Every thought Solera had, every calculation she made, became a current he could anticipate and redirect. Solera fell, and the storm surged again, stronger, wider, and more intelligent. Kairos knew the true storm was alive in a way no ordinary battle had been. It was a convergence of energy, will, and strategy, constantly evolving, forcing ascendants to grow faster than ever. Returning to Obsidian Gate, Kairos reported to Arahan Vale. The storm is no longer just Veros plane Ida becoming a force of its own. Every elite ascendant, every relic, every Zonia Ida forming a network that will eventually challenge the ascension hierarchy itself. Vale nodded gravely. Vale seen only the beginning. Soon, the storm will test not only your power but your choices. Every action you take could ripple across territories and timelines. Veros has designed a trial that will make transcending gold tier look trivial by comparison. Kairos clenched his fists. Then we rise beyond trivial. Gold tier was only the threshold. Now the true storm will teach us what it really means to ascend. From the horizon, a dark pulse radiated, faint but omnipresent a signal that the next wave, the Eye of the Maelstrom, was forming. And with it, Veros Malvina ultimate challenge was drawing near. The skies above the midnight expanse were alive with violent spiritual storms. Relics recovered from the obsidian spire pulsed unpredictably, as if reacting to a distant, unseen force. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stood at the summit of Obsidian Gate, preparing for their next mission. Arahan Valea voice carried over the arcane comlink. Oath Shadow Sect has begun converging on the Eye of the Maelstrom. Reports indicate multiple high-tier operatives coordinating attacks across several ascendant territories. You must intercept them before the spiritual turbulence destabilizes entire regions. This is no longer a skirmish Ida SA warfront. Kairos hands glowed faintly, the scepter of Velfire resonating with latent energy from the obsidian spire relics. Oave survived the shadow dimension and the spire. This will be our true test. Before them materialized a new squad. Silera, the celestial weaver an ascendant with the ability to manipulate spiritual threads, weaving them into traps, shields, or offensive constructs. She had allied with the Ascendant Order after witnessing Veros manipulations. Thyron, the Echo Knight A Euro, a tactical genius capable of creating temporal echoes of his actions, allowing him to fight simultaneously in multiple timelines for brief bursts. Meles, the Stormheart A Euro, a relic bearer who could draw storm energy into concentrated blasts, rivaling gold tier limit breaks in raw destructive power. Together, the six formed the vanguard against the converging threat. The Eye of the Maelstrom was unlike any battlefield they had faced. Floating islands of debris spun around a vortex of spiritual energy that threatened to tear reality itself apart. Every attack, every movement, had to account for shifting gravity, fluctuating energy fields, and the unpredictable resonance of relics in the area. From the chaos emerged Veyro's Malvina Euro's new elite cadre, each armed with relics beyond gold tier comprehension. Calith, the reality shard A Euro, could fracture local reality, creating pockets where physical and spiritual laws were inverted. Rissa, the mint flare A Euro, manipulated perception and thought, forcing opponents to fight hallucinations as deadly as reality. Vorik, the null vanguard A Euro, an ascendant capable of absorbing limit break energy and redirecting it as devastating counterattacks. Kairos felt the pressure immediately. Traditional limit breaks alone would not suffice. He activated Resonant Ascension, merging his energy not only with Leora and Arindor but with the relics recovered from the spire. The battlefield itself became a weapon. Floating debris stabilized under their control, energy surges redirected, and spiritual currents synchronized into a defensive matrix. Silera wove spiritual threads around the vanguard, forming shields and traps that ensnared incoming attacks. Thyrina Euro's temporal echoes allowed simultaneous strikes against Calith Euro's fractured reality zones. Meles channeled storm energy into localized bursts, neutralizing destabilized zones before they could collapse. Despite this coordination, the battle escalated. Calith fractured the spiritual vortex itself, sending shards of reality spinning like daggers. Rissa manipulated perceptions, forcing the team to fight phantoms of their deepest fears. Vorik absorbed several of Kairos Euro's limit break pulses, nearly overwhelming him. Kairos realized brute force and synchronization were insufficient. He delved deeper into harmonic ascension, evolving it further into dimensional harmony, a state where he could temporarily stabilize fractured reality and redirect its energy through himself. Kairos lunged into the heart of Calith Euro's fractured reality zone. Every step risked being erased, every strike required real-time adaptation to shifting physics. His limit break resonated with the relics and the spiritual currents of his allies, creating an anchor point in the chaos. A Euro oh now, Leora. A Euro, he shouted. Shadow resonance amplified his anchor, solidifying platforms and guiding allies through the warped landscape. Arindor redirected rogue energy currents to create corridors through the fracturing terrain, allowing Silera, Thyron, and Meles to maintain offensive pressure. With a coordinated effort, they destabilized Calith Euro's shards, forcing him to retreat. But as Calith withdrew, Rissa Euro's illusions intensified, manifesting visions of Obsidian Gate in flames, the people they loved in peril. Kairos had to maintain focus, realizing that emotional resonance was now a weapon. With dimensional harmony, he stabilized both the environment and his own fears, anchoring the Team Euro's collective energy. Just as the team believed they had gained the upper hand, the maelstrom shifted violently. A deep rumble echoed from the center, and a figure emerged. A Euro, Veyron, further evolved. His relics now fused with the Aya Euro's energy, granting him abilities beyond even gold tier ascendants. A Euro oh welcome to the Eye of Inevitability. A Euro Veyron intoned, his voice layered with distortion. A Euro oh power alone is meaningless. Only those who can synchronize with the currents of fate itself will survive. A Euro the maelstrom itself began to react to his presence, sending torrents of spiritual energy that bent space, time, and thought. Every limit break pulse from Kairos and his allies was partially absorbed, redirected, or nullified. Kairos gritted his teeth. A Euro Oave a Eurove trained for this. We Eurove survived worse. Everyone a Euro, merge fully. Dimensional harmony, push beyond restraint. A Euro the next moments would define not just their survival, but the evolution of ascendant power itself. The eye of the maelstrom roared around them, reality itself bending and tearing under Veyron a Euro's amplified presence. Kairos felt the pulse of the relics resonate violently with his limit break. Every fiber of his being was being tested. A Euro, power alone would not suffice, mastery of self and synchronization with the chaotic currents was essential. A Euro stay sharp. A Euro Kairos shouted, his voice barely audible over the roaring spiritual vortex. A Euro adimensional harmony is the key. A Euro, merge everything, every thought, every intention, every emotion. A Euro Lyra. A Euro's shadow resonance surged to unprecedented heights, linking not only with Kairos and Arindor but also with Silera, Thyron, and Meles. The six of them became a singular entity of coordinated energy, each limit break pulse amplified through collective focus. Veyron struck with devastating force. His relic-infused strikes warped the battlefield, bending gravity and energy flows in unpredictable patterns. Platforms spun, debris became deadly projectiles, and streams of chaotic energy threatened to tear the team apart. Kairos activated the next evolution, Ascendant Convergence, a state where he could merge his limit break with not only ambient energy but the residual energy of allies, relics, and even fragments of the maelstrom itself. The environment stabilized around him, creating a temporary sanctuary in the chaos. Silera wove spiritual threads into the fabric of the maelstrom, creating zones of relative stability. Thyrina Euro's temporal echoes allowed attacks to land multiple times within fractured timelines, bypassing Verona Euro's spatial distortions. Meles channeled storm energy into concentrated bursts, neutralizing rogue currents before they could destabilize the Tima Euro's anchor points. Arindor maintained defensive conduits, redirecting Verona Euro's redirected limit break pulses back against him. A Euro Kairos. Target the core of his relic fusion. His connection to the eye is unstable when we coordinate perfectly. A Euro Kairos nodded. He focused every ounce of his being into resonant ascension, now fully integrated with dimensional harmony. His energy intertwined with Lyra Euros, Arindora Euros, and the auxiliary energies of the other three allies. Every strike, every movement, every thought flowed in perfect unison. He struck. The impact was catastrophic. Verona Euros relic-infused aura fractured under the harmonized assault, streams of absorbed energy rebounding violently. The maelstrom shuddered, reality folding and reweaving around the Tima Euro's synchronized power. A Euro impossible. A Euro Veyron roared, his voice layered with distortion and disbelief. A Euro ou a Euro, ho a Euro. A Euro Kairos pressed forward, the scepter of Velfire blazing with pure ascendant energy. A Euro ou underestimated harmony. Power alone cannot dominate fate. A Euro using a combined push of ascendant convergence and resonant ascension, Kairos channeled a controlled pulse into Verona Euro's relic matrix, destabilizing his fusion with the eye of the maelstrom. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance amplified every motion, turning the team into a living weapon of synchronized energy. Arindor maintained the environmental equilibrium, while Silera, Thyron, and Meles exploited the openings, their limit breaks striking in perfect cadence. Veyron staggered. For the first time, he was on the defensive. Yet, before defeat could be secured, he triggered a failsafe within the Aya Euro, a temporal spiral implosion that threatened to collapse the entire maelstrom. Kairos realized the consequence immediately. Failing to stabilize the implosion would destroy not only the team but the ascendant territories connected to the maelstrom. There was no longer a margin for error. A Euro everyone. Merge fully. Thought, energy, intent a Euro, everything. A Euro Kairos commanded. The team responded. Harmonic currents, spiritual threads, temporal echoes, and storm energy merged with Kairos a Euro's dimensional harmony, creating a singular, cohesive pulse. This pulse interacted with the eye itself, stabilizing its spiraling collapse just enough to redirect the catastrophic energy safely outward, preventing widespread devastation. Veyron, weakened and thrown back by the combined force, vanished into a collapsing rift. His last words echoed ominously. A Euro Othis a Euro is only the beginning. A Euro gold tier is obsolete. A Euro and the ascension beyond is a Euro inevitable. A Euro the maelstrom calmed, leaving the team standing amid the partially restored landscape. Floating debris hung in tense equilibrium, spiritual currents settling into a new rhythm. Kairos, breathing heavily, realized the implications. They had not only survived but evolved their limit breaks beyond gold tier understanding. Arahan Valea Euro's voice crackled over the comlink. A Euro or remarkable a Euro the dimensional harmony and ascendant convergence techniques have redefined post-gold tier combat. But be warned a Euro, Verona Euro's retreat is only temporary. The ascension ladder extends far beyond what you a Eurove experienced. He will return, stronger, and the stakes will rise exponentially. A Euro Kairos looked at his allies, the glow of their limit breaks faintly lingering in the air. A Euro Oave a Eurove survived impossible odds. We Eurove transcended gold tier. But Verona Euro's words a Euro the ascension beyond gold a Euro that path is something we Euro LL have to forge ourselves. Leora nodded, her eyes reflecting both exhaustion and resolve. Oave learn to fight, to synchronize, to master ourselves and the world around us. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Arindor adjusted his stance, surveying the remnants of the maelstrom. E and the ascension itself will test you far beyond anything we Ve seen. Above the horizon, faint traces of Verona S rift shimmerate a promise of trials yet to come, and the storm of post-gold tier ascension waiting to engulf the world. Weeks after the Maelstrom S core battle, Obsidian Gate buzzed with activity. The recovered relics from the Obsidian Spire were under constant study, their energies resonating faintly with Kairos and his allies. Scholars, tacticians, and ascendants alike marveled at the implications. These relics were capable of bridging ascendant tiers beyond gold an evolution none had fully comprehended. Kairos stood before a new council, flanked by Leora, Arindor, Silera, Thyron, and Meles. Arahan Valea S tone was grave. Verona S retreat was strategic. He and Veiros are consolidating power in secret. The Shadow Sect is no longer testing it is preparing. Your recent battles have elevated your limit breaks beyond gold tier, but the ascendant hierarchy will be challenged in ways you cannot yet predict. Reports arrived simultaneously from multiple frontlines. Relic disturbances, rogue ascendants wielding unstable limit breaks, and spectral anomalies hinting at experiments that defied known laws of ascension. Among these, one signature stood out: a figure whose energy rivaled even Kairos S harmonic ascension. Oho or what is this? Leora whispered, analyzing the energy readings. Arindor frowned. It matches no known ascendant tier. Whatever it is, S evolving with every encounter, learning and adapting. Veiros must be behind it. From the shadows of Obsidian Gate S upper towers, a new operative stepped forward. Kalith, the Velwalker, a post-gold tier ascendant whose mastery over temporal and spiritual flow rivaled the combined limit breaks of Kairos and his team. Kalith had been sent to test the boundaries of the trio S newly evolved powers and to retrieve any relics that might threaten the Shadow Sect S ultimate plan. To prepare for the looming confrontation, Kairos and the team entered a training sequence unprecedented in scope. Using the relics as amplifiers, they developed post-gold tier limit break evolutions. Kairos, Harmonic Ascension A, Resonant Convergence, merging personal, environmental, and relic energy into a singular offensive and defensive flow. Leora, Shadow Resonance A, Eclipsed Harmony, capable of synchronizing multiple alias energies while manipulating enemy perception. Arindor, Tactical Conduits A, Omni-channel, redirecting multi-dimensional energy currents with near-perfect precision. Silera, Threadweaving A, Ethereal Loom, capable of crafting temporary realities that stabilize chaotic energy. Thyron, Temporal Echo A, Chrono Flux Assault, generating simultaneous attacks across fractured timelines. Meles, Storm Channel A, Tempest Synthesis, converting ambient chaos into concentrated bursts of destructive energy. Their training culminated in the Ascendant Horizon simulation, a multi-layered, shifting reality designed to prepare them for post-gold tier combat. Here, spatial laws twisted unpredictably, relics pulsed with sentience, and psychological manifestations of fear and doubt materialized as physical threats. The simulation became real when Kalith appeared, stepping through a fractured rift with a grace that bent light and shadow. Impressive, Kalith said, voice layered with multiple tones, echoing from all directions. You have transcended gold tier. Yet your understanding of limit breaks is incomplete. I am here to push you for Thera or destroy what you cannot yet control. The battle tested every evolution and coordination technique they had mastered. Kalith replicated and distorted their attacks, manipulated the environment in unpredictable ways, and exploited even minor lapses in focus. Only by combining Resonant Convergence, Eclipsed Harmony, and Omni-channel did the team manage to stabilize the battlefield and force Kalith to retreat temporarily. As Kalith vanished, a chilling message echoed. You have learned to fight together. The storm is not over. Veiros watch as and the Ascendant Horizon awaits. Back at Obsidian Gate, the implications were clear. The Shadow Sect had moved. Beyond Relic Collection they were engineering post-gold tier ascendants and destabilizing the Ascension hierarchy itself. Veiros Malvina S strategy was no longer tactical it was existential. Kairos held the scepter of Velfire, its pulse now in harmony with not just his limit break but the latent energies of his entire team. Oave survived the impossible before. But the Ascendant Horizon the path beyond gold Ida S something new. We must rise, or all of ascension will fall. Lyra S eyes glimmered with resolve. Oave learn to master power, synchronize with forces beyond ourselves, and endure the impossible. The shadow sect may push the boundaries but we will redefine them first. Arindor S voice was firm. Preparation, precision, and unity post-gold tier limit breaks demand all three. And we are ready. Far beyond Obsidian Gate, Veyros Malvin observed the rippling currents of spiritual energy, his eyes glinting with anticipation. Around him, Caliph, Veyron, Sereth, and a host of newly forged post-gold tier operatives gathered, each trained to exploit weaknesses in ascendant evolution. The boy grows, Veyros murmured, watching Kairos S energy spikes across distant monitors. But the stormy Ve preparate the Ascendant Horizon will show him the price of defiance. Every step forward will demand more than strength. Every choice will shape destiny itself. Above the horizon, faint rifts shimmerate gateways to dimensions untamed and post-gold tier arenas yet uncharted. The real ascension trials were only beginning. The air at Obsidian Gate was thick with residual energy from the collapsed Obsidian Spire. The ground beneath the city thrummed faintly, a subtle echo of the Relix power. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor walked through the council chambers, their steps measured, each aware of the new weight pressing upon them. Arahan Valea S expression was grave. The Obsidian Spire was only the beginning. Veyros Malvina S operations are no longer isolated strikes they restructuring the ascension framework itself. Territories once considered stable now show chaotic fluctuations in spiritual energy. Gold tier limit breaks can barely maintain equilibrium. Lyra S eyes narrowed. S not just after relics or battles S trying to destabilize ascension itself. Arindor placed a hand on the table, scanning maps that pulsed with unstable energy zones. E and S succeeding. Look this is the Hollow Reach, the Spine of Dusk, and the Embered Veil. Entire regions where energy levels exceed gold tier thresholds. Anyone not prepared will be annihilated or worse, corrupted. Kairos clenched his fists, feeling the pulse of the scepter of Velfire resonate in response. Then we can't just defend we need to anticipate. We have to strike before the corruption spreads further. Arahan Vale nodded. E agreed. But you must understand. Veyros S plan involves layers of strategy that go beyond conventional combat. He will test not only your limit breaks but your morality, judgment, and capacity to adapt under impossible conditions. You are entering a phase beyond gold tier, where failure isn't just death Ida S permanent corruption of ascendant power. Kairos S gaze shifted to the recovered relics. Each hummed with potential, yet radiated a subtle warning. If Veyros wants to manipulate relic energy on this scale then we need mastery over it. Not just strength, but understanding. Leora, Arindor we must synchronize with these relics at a level we never attempted. Leora placed her hand on the shadow resonance crystal, feeling its energy ripple through her. Harmonic ascension allowed us to synchronize with terrain and ambient spiritual energy. But these relics they re-alive. They respond to thought, emotion, intention. We LL need more than synchronization we LL need intuition. Arindor S eyes scanned the chamber, already calculating strategies. Then we begin with controlled trials. We stabilize one relic at a time, pushing our limit breaks through escalating scenarios. This isn't a about combat efficiency Ida S about resonance mastery. If we fail, the consequences could be catastrophic. Kairos turned to the trio S remaining resources. Start immediately. Divide and train relays of energy, simulations of rogue environments, and controlled fusion of relic and limit break. Each trial must challenge not only our power but our judgment. As they prepared, a new alert flashed on the interdimensional monitors. The Shadow Sect had activated a network of relic conduits across multiple territories. These conduits amplified rogue spiritual energy, creating zones where even gold tier ascendants struggled to maintain control. One conduit, located in the Shattered Crags, displayed energy readings beyond the thresholds they had encountered in the Midnight Expanse or the Shadow Dimension. Arahan Valea S voice was somber. A Euro O Kairos A Euro. If these conduits Arena Euro T neutralized, they could destabilize the Ascendant network entirely. Veyros is no longer merely testing you a Euro, hey a Euro S rewriting the rules of Ascension. This is your first counter-strike mission at a scale beyond previous encounters. A Euro Kairos felt the weight of leadership settle over him. A Euro O then the Ria Euro S no time to hesitate. Leora, Arindora Euro, we move to the Shattered Crags. We Euro LL stabilize the conduit, reclaim control, and secure the relic energy. But we must remain vigilant a Euro. Veyros a Euro S agents will be waiting, and they won't a Euro T fight by ordinary rules. A Euro the trio teleported to the Shattered Crags, stepping into a canyon where jagged peaks twisted unnaturally against an alien sky. Spiritual energy surged violently, causing platforms of stone to float and spin unpredictably. Shadows moved with intelligence, striking before they could be seen. Relic conduits pulsed in synchronized waves, distorting the battlefield further. Kairos activated Resonant Ascension. The pulse of his limit break merged with the ambient relic energy, creating a temporary anchor point. Leora amplified the resonance, stabilizing localized shadows, while Arindor redirected surges and mapped out the chaotic terrain. From the sky, an elite operative descended a Euro, Nocturus, the Veil Harbinger. His presence was a living distortion. His limit break reflected spiritual energy attacks back against their sources with surgical precision. A Euro Oi wondered how long it would take for the ascendants of Obsidian Gate to respond. A Euro Nocturus taunted, each step warping gravity beneath him. A Euro OU a Euro re-brave, but this realm is mine. A Euro Kairos understood immediately. Nocturus wasn't a Euro T just a warrior a Euro, he was a test of precision, perception, and synchronization. Each attack was designed to provoke hesitation. One misstep could fracture the conduit, causing cascading destruction. The battle began. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor fought as a triad of energy, their limit breaks blending with the conduit's a Euro pulse. Harmonic Ascension evolved again a Euro. Kairos now could sense microfluctuations in the conduit energy and predict environmental shifts before they occurred. Lyra Euro S shadow resonance became anticipatory, countering Nocturus a Euro S redirections instantly. Arindor a Euro S tactical oversight turned the floating peaks into temporary shields and channels, guiding attacks back at the operative. Hours passed in a blur of energy, precision, and strategy. Each counterstrike, each harmonized movement, drained them physically and mentally, but they stabilized the conduit piece by piece. Finally, with a coordinated surge of resonant ascension, they severed Nocturus a Euro S control over the conduit and reclaimed the relic a Euro S power, anchoring it safely. The operative retreated, dissolving into shadows with a whispered promise, a Euro Oath storm has just begun. You a Euro Vey only survived the first wave. A Euro Kairos looked to Leora and Arindor, sweat and energy residue coating them. A Euro Oathus is bigger than any battle we Euro Vey fought. Veyros is creating more than chaos a Euro, hey a Euro S reshaping ascension itself. And every step we take now will determine who survives the storm a Euro and who doesn't a Euro T. A Euro from the horizon, the pulse of the next conduit flickered faintly, a reminder that the Shadow Sector Euro S network was far from dismantled. And in the distance, unseen by mortal eyes, Veyros Malvin observed, his smile unreadable. A Euro O they think they are prepared. Let them see what true ascension beyond gold tier demands a Euro. The Shattered Crags lay quiet after the battle, yet the air still hummed with residual energy from the reclaimed relic conduit. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor moved cautiously, aware that every pulse of spiritual energy could signal a hidden threat. Arahan Valea Euro S voice echoed through their communicators. A Euro O good work stabilizing the conduit. But this is only one node. The Shadow Sect has activated multiple conduits across the Ascendant territories. Your next target is the Embered Valea Euro, a region of volcanic spiritual energy, already unstable, now made worse by the Secta Euro S interference. A Euro Kairos clenched his fists, the scepter of Velfire glowing faintly. A Euro O then we keep moving. Every conduit we stabilize weakens Veyros a Euro S network a Euro, and gives us insight into the Relix a Euro patterns. A Euro Leora nodded. A Euro O but Embered Veil is different. The energy there is volatile, more primal. We Euro LL need precise control to prevent a meltdown. Even gold tier limit breaks could fail in that environment. A Euro Arindor a Euro S eyes flicked over maps projected from his energy arrays. A Euro OAV a Euro LL need support. A Euro Vey identified potential alias a Euro, ascendants from the Crimson Aegis and the Verdant Circle. Their combined abilities can augment our stabilization efforts and provide tactical versatility. A Euro Kairos exhaled. A-O then lead A-S bring them in. The more synchronized we are, the better our chances against whatever Veros has waiting. The Embered Veil was a living inferno. Rivers of molten spiritual energy flowed alongside volcanic rock that floated in midair. Heat pulses resonated with their limit breaks, making every movement a careful negotiation between control and survival. Waiting for them were 3 ascendants sent by the Council: Silera, the Flame Weaver, a gold-tier ascendant capable of molding molten energy into constructs that could shield allies or trap opponents. Her temperament was fierce, but her focus unmatched. Kalethorn, the Tempest Knight, a master of air currents and energy shockwaves, his limit break allowed him to manipulate pressure and sound to disrupt attacks or enhance movement. Muriel, the Ether Seer, a tactician whose energy perception allowed her to sense anomalies in spiritual currents, predicting environmental shifts and enemy movements before they occurred. Kairos greeted them with resolve. A-O need full coordination. Every pulse of energy, every fluctuation, must be accounted for. This isn't a just a battle Ida-S containment and synchronization on a scale beyond gold tier. At the heart of the veil, the conduit pulsed violently, its energy threatening to tear the region apart. From its center emerged Pyroxis, a gold tier ascendant transformed by relic energy into something more A-Euro. His molten form flowed like liquid fire, his eyes burning with the intensity of the veil itself. A-OU. Dare stabilize what is mine. Pyroxis roared, flames coiling around him. I am the keeper of this chaos, and your limit breaks are but sparks against the inferno. Kairos activated resonant ascension, feeling the conduit energy surge and respond. Lyra-S shadow resonance wove through the molten flows, stabilizing pockets of energy long enough to create safe zones. Arindora-S tactical manipulation of environmental currents redirected molten streams, protecting allies from catastrophic collapse. The battle escalated as Pyroxis split his form, creating clones of molten energy that attacked from multiple angles. Silera countered with molten constructs that trapped the clones, while Kalethorn manipulated wind currents to prevent them from dispersing. Morela-S foresight predicted Pyroxis-S bursts of flame, giving the team the split-second advantage they needed. Kairos realized a critical insight. The conduit-S energy could be harmonized not just with individual limit breaks but with the combined intent of the team. Channeling resonant ascension, he merged the energies of all 5 ascendants, creating a unified pulse that pushed back Pyroxis-S clones and stabilized the conduit temporarily. But Pyroxis was adaptive. Each attack learned from the previous, shaping the battlefield into a living furnace of unpredictability. Kairos felt the strain of maintaining synchronization, his body and mind teetering on the edge of exhaustion. Then, in a moment of clarity, he evolved resonant ascension into unified convergence, a technique that allowed not just harmonization with energy and environment but with the collective limit breaks and intent of multiple ascendants simultaneously. The surge of combined energy overwhelmed Pyroxis, forcing him back and stabilizing the conduit completely. Exhausted but triumphant, the team watched as molten rivers returned to controlled flow, the veil no longer a threat of collapse. Kairos-S gaze hardened. A-Veros isn't a sending isolated challenges anymore. A-S orchestrating a global network of energy conduits, each a potential weapon or trap. If we want to stop him, we need to understand the pattern, the purpose behind every Node and master the energy before he does. From the shadows of a floating obsidian spire above the veil, a faint laughter echoed, distorted by volcanic winds. They are learning faster than anticipated. But knowledge is not power. Soon, every lesson, every victory, will lead them to the choice that defines ascension itself. Kairos turned to his allies, hands glowing with residual energy. They won this battle, but the war is only beginning. The conduits are connected, and Veros-S plan is far larger than we imagined. We move next to the Hollow Reach and we take control before the Ascendant network collapses entirely. The Hollow Reach stretched like a jagged scar across the continent a labyrinth of canyons, floating obsidian plates, and collapsing tunnels, all saturated with unstable spiritual currents. Reports indicated that multiple shadow sect conduits intersected here, forming the central node of their growing network. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, and their new alias Silera, Kalethorn, and Morela approached cautiously. Every step triggered subtle tremors of energy, warning that even minor miscalculations could cascade into disaster. Orch conduit in Hollow Reach is linked, Muriel observed, her eyes glowing faintly as she traced the flow of spiritual currents. If one node collapses or is misaligned, it will destabilize the entire region. Veyros isna Euro T just testing USA Euro, Heya Euro S weaponizing the environment itself. A Euro Lyra Euro S shadow resonance pulsed in response. A Euro O need perfect synchronization. Any disruption could amplify the conduit energy and destroy USA Euro, or worse, feed the shadow sector Euro S forces. A Euro Arindor nodded. A Euro Oave a Euro LL move as a single entity. Everyone in position, no energy wasted. This is beyond gold tier coordination. A Euro, IDA Euro SA multi-tier network stabilization mission. A Euro before the team could reach the central node, a series of ambushes erupted from the shadows. Noctrix, the Veilbreaker, an elite operative capable of severing limit break connections, isolating ascendants from their powers temporarily. Orith, the Gravity Ma, a being who could distort spatial fields, creating crushing zones and disorienting gravity shifts. Veyron, reborn, having trained further in the shadow dimension, his relic integration now allowed him to manipulate environmental energy at a macro scale. The hollow reach became a chaotic battlefield. Gravity shifted, currents of unstable energy pulsed, and mirrored clones of Kairos Euro's previous limit breaks attacked in waves. Silera and Kalethorn stabilized constructs and redirected currents, while Muriel anticipated the elite operative ESA Euro assaults, giving split-second advantages. Kairos realized that even unified convergence might not suffice. The sheer complexity of multiple conduits and multiple elite operatives required him to evolve for Thera Euro, an evolution not just of technique but of awareness itself. Amid the chaos, Kairos tapped into the residual energy of the conduits, sensing the collective intent of all ascendants around him. Drawing from the network, he evolved unified convergence into hyper-ascension Euro, a state where he could harmonize simultaneously with the ambient energy of the environment. The spiritual currents of multiple conduits. The limit breaks and intent of every allied ascendant present. The residual energy imprints left by the shadow sect operatives themselves. With hyper-ascension, Kairos Euro's strikes anticipated even predictive maneuvers from Veyron and Noctrix. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance now amplified not only their own synchronization but also subtly countered the shadow sector Euro's attempts to sever connections. Arindor, Silera, Kalethorn, and Muriel formed a living matrix of energy, dynamically stabilizing the conduits and redirecting attacks with near-perfect precision. At the central node, Veyros Euro's ultimate plan began to reveal itself. The conduits converged into a massive, pulsating core, a living network of spiritual energy that could potentially reshape the ascension hierarchy if destabilized or controlled. Veyron and the other elite operatives acted as living safeguards, each synchronizing with a portion of the core. The battle reached unprecedented levels. Every strike, every pulse of energy, now had cascading consequences. A misaligned attack could amplify the Korea Euro's instability, creating a chain reaction of catastrophic energy surges. Kairos, in hyper-ascension, synchronized every pulse of his limit break with his allies and the conduits. He struck with precision that transcended reaction time, destabilizing the operative ESA Euro synchronization with the core. Leora and Arindor exploited every opening, reinforcing safe zones and countering destructive energy surges. After what felt like an eternity, the Korea Euro's energy began to stabilize under their collective control. The elite operatives were neutralized Euro, not destroyed, but forced into stasis as their energy links were severed from the network. Veyron, though restrained, glared with unbridled fury. Euro Othis Euro is far from over. The conduits are merely the beginning. You cannot fathom the ascension levels beyond gold tier Euro, beyond even hyper-ascension. Euro Kairos Euro's hands glowed with residual conduit energy. Euro Oave Euro Ve learned more than you realize. Every step, every network, every challenge Euro, only sharpens us. Beyond gold tier, is not just power, Veyros. IDA Euro's control, understanding, and the will to protect everything that matters. Euro from the shadows, Veyros Malvina Euro's voice resonated through the hollow reach. Euro impressive Euro, but the storm is not yet fully formed. Soon, every ascendant will face a choice. Embrace the path Euro Ve forged Euro or be consumed by it. Euro the hollow reach had been stabilized, but the network of shadow sect conduits extended far beyond what Kairos and his team had initially realized. Veyros Malvina Euro's influence reached into multiple territories, each node tied to ascendants who had been manipulated Euro, or coursed Euro, into serving his vision. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, Silera, Kalethorn, and Muriel prepared to strike at the next node, located in the Eclipsed Barrens, a wasteland scarred by rogue spiritual storms. The ground itself seemed alive, reacting violently to their limit break energy. This node is different, Muriel warned, scanning with her spiritual resonance. S already integrated corrupted ascendants into its network. Any misstep could convert them into living conduits, amplifying the Nodia S destructive potential. Lyra S shadow resonance pulsed in warning. Oave re not just fighting power Haria we re facing minds that are already under Veros S influence. Harmonic or hyper ascension alone won't T suffice we LL need to engage on a cognitive and emotional level as well. As the team advanced, they encountered the first wave of corrupted ascendants. Vanura, the Soul Forge a former gold tier ascendant whose empathy had been twisted into rage. She could manipulate life energy to both heal and harm, creating zones where allies risked being drained of vitality. Tharian, the Void Architect capable of bending space to create micro-dimensions where attacks and allies could be trapped or disoriented indefinitely. Callistra, the Memory Wraith could extract and manipulate memories, sowing doubt and fear, manifesting illusions drawn from an ascendant S own insecurities. Kairos realized immediately that brute force alone would not prevail. Hyper-ascension allowed him to harmonize with the battlefield S energy, but these ascendants were living variables, unpredictable and emotionally charged. Every attack required careful calibration. As they fought, Kairos discovered the tragic truth. These ascendants were not merely enemies they had been kidnapped, experimented on, and corrupted using relics tuned to manipulate emotion and thought. Their transformation was reversible, but only if the team acted carefully. Destroying them would stabilize the node, Arindor said grimly. But it would also kill them. We need another way. Kairos clenched his fists, feeling the pulse of hyper-ascension. Then we adapt. We fight to save them, not just to defeat them. Every choice matters Veros is counting on us to make mistakes. The team implemented a multi-layered approach. Kairos, in hyper-ascension, synchronized his limit break not only with the environment but with the corrupted ascendants energy, seeking to harmonize rather than annihilate. Leora extended shadow resonance to anchor the minds of their allies, protecting them from Callistra memory manipulations. Arindor maintained energy conduits, redirecting volatile currents and stabilizing zones of life-draining energy. Silera, Kalethorn, and Muriel worked to disrupt the relics corrupting the ascendants, using subtle energy inversions rather than raw attacks. The battle became a delicate dance. Every attack had to neutralize threats without causing irreversible harm, every movement calculated to preserve life while dismantling the network. Kairos identified a pattern in the corrupted ascendants energy flows. The relics that controlled them were powered by feedback loops of fear and rage. Using hyper-ascension, he channeled a controlled wave of harmonic resonance, a refined form of hyper-ascension that could invert the feedback, gradually restoring the ascendants original alignment. One by one, the corrupted ascendants began to stabilize, their eyes clearing as the relics influence waned. Vanura, Tharian, and Callistra faltered, their attacks weakening as consciousness returned. Before they could recover fully, Veros Malvina S voice echoed through the spiritual currents. Cleaver but temporary. You may save a few, but every node you cleanse feeds my vision. The storm is far from over, and the ascendants you cherish will one day choose the path I have designed. Kairos, standing amid the restored ascendants, met Lyra S gaze. Oave learned something today. Gold tier, hyper ascension none of it matters without wisdom, restraint, and the courage to do what S right. We will not let him turn our friends into weapons. The team prepared to advance deeper into the network. The Shadow Sect had more nodes, each more dangerous and morally complex than the last. Veros Malvina S ultimate goal remained unknown, but one truth had become clear. The real challenge was no longer only power it was judgment, restraint, and understanding the consequences of every action. The team had cleansed the first node of the Shadow Network, but the Eclipsed Barrens were only the beginning. Reports from Obsidian Gate indicated multiple nodes activating simultaneously across distant territories. Each node was more fortified, its corrupted ascendants more numerous and powerful, and the relics controlling them tuned to amplify fear, doubt, and aggression. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, Silera, Kalethorn, and Muriel moved in unison, their combined limit breaks resonating through the spiritual currents. This isna T just a network, Arindor said, scanning the readings. Eta sa lattice of influence. Each node affects Anathera corrupting, destabilizing, and preparing ascendance for something far larger. If we fail, the entire hierarchy could collapse. S shadow resonance pulsed with urgency. E and the ascendants caught in Ida Ikana T risk them being permanently lost. Every step must be precise. The Twilight Crucible, located within the storm-ravaged vortex planes, presented a new challenge. Gravity twisted unpredictably, creating zones where energy could not flow normally. Rogue spiritual storms surged from the relic core, threatening to overwhelm even gold-tier limit breaks. The corrupted ascendants here were hybrids, fusing relic energy with their own limit breaks, creating unpredictable attacks that could destabilize terrain and allies alike. Kairos quickly realized that conventional attacks would fail. Using harmonic resonance, he synchronized not only with the environment and team but with the latent spiritual currents of the corrupted ascendants themselves, seeking to stabilize without destroying them. Among the corrupted was Zarin, the pulsabender, capable of turning an Alia limit break against themselves. Fighting Zarin required foresight, precision, and an intimate understanding of the Tima energy flows. During the battle, Kairos faced an agonizing choice. Destroy the relics quickly to stop the immediate threat, likely killing the corrupted ascendants. Attempt to stabilize the node, risking exposure to fatal energy feedback but saving lives. Kairos chose the latter. Using harmonic resonance in full synchronization with Leora and Arindor, he channeled energy pulses that inverse the corruption, gradually freeing the ascendants from the Relixa influence. One by one, Zarin and others regained clarity, their attacks weakening as consciousness returned. But the node remained unstable, a reminder that Veyros network was designed to recover and adapt. As the team regrouped, Obsidian Gate S monitors revealed a staggering truth. Veyros Malvina S shadow network was assembling an ascension storm a confluence of corrupted nodes, relics, and destabilized ascendants intended to overwhelm the gold-tier hierarchy all at once. Arahan Vale addressed the team gravely. A storm is coming, faster than we imagined. Veyros isna T merely seeking relics or territory he is attempting to reshape ascension itself, forcing the hierarchy to fracture under pressure. Kairos grip the scepter of Velfire. O gold tier is just the start. If we going to survive, we must transcend our limit breaks again, not just for power, but for control, judgment, and the lives of every ascendant. Leora added, her eyes glowing with shadow resonance. This isna T about defeating enemies anymore. Every decision, every action, will ripple through the hierarchy. One wrong step, and the ascension ladder itself could collapse. The Tima S mission shifted, trace the remaining nodes and prevent the shadow network from reaching full activation. Rescue or stabilize corrupted ascendants before they can be permanently weaponized. Confront Veyros Malvin directly, uncovering his ultimate plan and preventing the ascension storm from annihilating the hierarchy. Kairos S limit breaks had evolved. Resonant ascension now allowed him to sense not only energy flows but the intentions and fears of other ascendants, providing both offensive and restorative capabilities. Lyra S and Arindora S powers were similarly refined, creating a triad capable of facing even the most dangerous threats. Yet the tension remained palpable. The Shadow Network had adapted after every battle, and Veyros Malvina S ultimate strategy remained shrouded in mystery. Every victory carried risk, and the stakes were no longer measured in territory or relics they were measured in the very future of Ascension itself. The alerts came in rapid succession. Multiple Shadow Network nodes had gone live simultaneously. From the eclipsed barrens to the vortex plains, to the ruins of the Midnight Expanse, every corrupted ascendant pulsed with destabilized relic energy. Veyros Malvina S plan was no longer abstract it was unfolding in real time, and the hierarchy of ascension was under siege. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, Silera, Kalethorn, and Muriel gathered in Obsidian Gate S command hall. The screens displayed the nodes as points of chaotic energy, converging like a storm on the spiritual map. Arahan Vale spoke grimly. The ascension storm is not just a metaphor. It is a literal convergence of corrupted nodes and relic energy. If we do not intervene simultaneously at multiple fronts, entire territories will fall, and ascendants will be lost permanently. This is the first true test beyond gold tier. A Euro. The team split into specialized pairs to attack 3 primary nodes, Kairos, Leora, and Arindor. A Euro, Vortex Plains node, where gravity and spiritual energy were most unstable. Silera and Kalethorn. A Euro, Eclipsed Barons node, where rogue ascendants had adapted hybrid limit breaks. Miriel. A Euro, Twilight Rift node, tasked with stabilizing critical energy currents and acting as a relay for all teams. Kairos activated Resonant Ascension, connecting with both the relic energy and the intentions of corrupted ascendants. He could now perceive subtle fluctuations in fear and hesitation, using them to stabilize attacks and neutralize chaos without permanent harm. At the heart of the vortex plains, gravity shifted like liquid, pulling and repelling the team in random waves. Rogue ascendants attacked with fusion limit breaks, warping terrain with energy cascades. Among them was Thalrin, the Gravity Weaver, whose attacks could invert or multiply gravitational forces at will. Kairos realized brute force would fail, they needed spatial and emotional synchronization. Using harmonic resonance, Kairos, Leora, and Arindor linked their energies not only with the environment but with Thalrena Euro's unstable emotional spikes, gently redirecting destructive pulses back into stabilization streams. Platforms reformed, rogue energy dissipated, and Thalrin, freed from relic influence, collapsed exhausted but alive. The pair encountered Mervil, the Pulse Shaper, capable of reflecting and amplifying their limit breaks. Kalethorn realized that only anticipation and counter-synchronization could break the feedback loop. Silera Euro's energy conduits redirected mirrored attacks, while Kalethorn synchronized his pulse with Mervala Euro's momentary hesitations. The node destabilized, but they recovered several relic fragments that hinted at a primary core driving all network nodes simultaneously. Alone, Miriel faced rogue spiritual currents that responded unpredictably to human emotion. Using deep meditation and energy attunement, she stabilized the rift enough to allow communication between nodes, acting as the Euro central anchor Euro for all teams. Without her intervention, the Ascension storm would have spiraled out of control. With all nodes temporarily stabilized, the team reconvened. Analysis revealed a chilling truth. Veyros Malvin had designed the nodes to channel every corrupted ascendant Euro's energy into a single focal point, an artificial ascension storm that could surpass gold-tier mastery. Arahan Valea Euro's voice was grave. A Euro this isn't a Euro T just territory or relic control. Veyros intends to forge a new tier of ascendant Euro, one forged from chaos, fear, and raw spiritual energy. If completed, it will not only break the hierarchy but redefine ascension itself. A Euro Kairos clench the scepter of Velfire. A Euro then we cannot wait. If Veyros completes the storm, there will be no battlefield left to fight on. We must strike at the core before the network converges fully. A Euro the Ascension storm Euro's core lies deep within a forbidden zone, a realm of condensed relic energy and temporal instability. Veyros Malvin himself may intervene directly, testing the team Euro's mastery of resonant ascension under extreme pressure. Moral choices will intensify. Every attack or stabilization attempt risks collateral damage to corrupted ascendants, and failure could permanently fracture ascension Euro's hierarchy. Kairos, standing with Leora and Arindor, felt the pulse of the storm in his veins. A Euro gold tier was only the threshold. The Ascension storm Euro this is the trial that will define not just us, but the future of every ascendant. A Euro the air grew thick with oppressive spiritual energy as Kairos, Leora, and Arindor approached the forbidden zone at the storm Euro's core. Floating islands of relic-infused debris rotated erratically around a central vortex that pulsed like a beating heart. Every step forward required precise synchronization. One misstep could rip them apart in the chaotic currents. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance flared, linking their movements. A Euro need perfect harmony. A Euro she warned. A Euro even small errors will amplify here. A Euro Arindor added, adjusting his energy conduits. A Euro gravity, time, and spiritual flow are unstable. Stabilization alone won't a Euro T suffice a Euro, we must anticipate the environment itself. A Euro at the center of the storm, atop a tower of relic fragments, Veyros Malvin appeared, his silhouette wreathed in corrupted gold-tier energy, augmented by the storm itself. Around him, spectral forms of ascendants twisted and writhed, absorbed into the vortex. A Euro welcome, A Euro Veyros a Euro's voice reverberated across the storm. A Euro you a Euro Vey learned, adapted, survived a Euro, but this trial is beyond gold tier. Here, only mastery over yourself and the forces around you can suffice. The Ascension storm will reveal truths even your limit breaks cannot touch. A Euro beside him, two of his elite operatives hovered. Veyron, the Relic Warden, now fully integrated with storm energy, and Sereth, Mirror of Shadows, whose power now mirrored environmental chaos itself. Kairos clenched the scepter of Velfire. A Euro Oave a Euro Ve faced chaos before, Veyros. But this a Euro we will overcome. Together. A Euro the battle erupted immediately. Waves of energy fractured reality around them. Gravity inverted, spiritual currents surged unpredictably, and phantasmal projections of their fears materialized, feeding the storm. Kairos activated Resonant Ascension, linking not just with relic energy, but with the thoughts and intentions of Leora and Arindor. The trio moved as one, their limit breaks forming a triad of stabilization and precision strikes. Veyron attacked with amplified relic energy, warping time locally to create multiple overlapping attack sequences. Sereth mirrored every attack, creating chaotic feedback loops. Kairos realized that even their synchronized limit breaks were insufficient. He needed to harmonize not only with energy, but with the storm a Euro's consciousness itself a Euro, a concept he had only glimpsed in theory. Drawing deeply from the relics they had previously recovered, Kairos initiated harmonic convergence, a step beyond resonant ascension. He merged their collective limit breaks with the storm a Euro's energy, subtly guiding its chaotic flow rather than fighting it. The storm itself seemed to react, pausing, pulsing, as if aware. Leora amplified their link through shadow resonance, while Arindor maintained environmental stability. Slowly, they pushed Veyron back, forcing him to expend more energy to maintain control over his connection. Amid the chaos, spectral ascendants a Euro, victims of the storm a Euro, appeared. Stabilizing them would weaken their own assault power, but leaving them to be consumed by the storm would accelerate its growth. Kairos hesitated for only a moment before making his choice. A Euro protect them. Power without wisdom is meaningless. A Euro using harmonic convergence, they rescued the spectral ascendants, integrating them into their energy flow. The storm shifted, now responsive to Kairos a Euro's leadership and moral clarity. Veyron screamed in frustration, his perfect control unraveling. As the storm stabilized partially, Veyros intervened directly, descending into the vortex himself. His presence distorted everything. Time folded, gravity became a chaotic spiral, and relic energy surged beyond comprehension. Kairos, feeling the weight of their combined limit breaks, realized the truth of Veyros a Euro's plan. He sought to forge ascendance beyond gold tier by breaking them mentally, spiritually, and morally. Every choice, every hesitation, every surge of doubt fueled the storm a Euro's power. The storm a Euro's core holds the key to ascension tiers beyond gold. Veyros intends to manipulate it directly. Moral dilemmas will multiply a Euro, every attack or stabilization choice could have irreversible consequences. New allies or unexpected entities may intervene, testing Kairos a Euro's capacity to lead beyond power alone. Kairos steadied himself, feeling Leora and Arindor a Euro's unwavering presence. A Euro Oave a Euro Ve survived everything so far. But the storm a Euro the true test begins now. And this time, Ida Euro's not just about power a Euro, Ida Euro's about what we choose to become. A Euro the ascension storm had reached a crescendo. The central vortex now towered like a dark sun, radiating pulses that distorted reality in waves. Every fluctuation sent islands of debris spinning, energy currents lashing unpredictably, and time folding over itself. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stood at the edge of the storm a Euro's core, their limit breaks resonating in tandem, yet even this combined strength felt fragile against the overwhelming force. Veyros Malvin descended from the eye of the storm, surrounded by a halo of relic energy that twisted with chaotic intent. A Euro you a Euro Ve reached the heart of ascension a Euro's test. A Euro he said. A Euro Oedo you understand now. Gold tier was only the beginning. Beyond Ida Euro only those who can master mind, heart, and spirit survive. A Euro beside him, Veyron a Euro's aura glowed with unstable energy, while Sereth a Euro's mirrored powers adapted instantly to any strategy the trio attempted. The storm pulsed violently, and spectral ascendants a Euro, lost souls of past experiments a Euro, rose from the vortex. Their anguished faces reflected fear, regret, and longing. Leora whispered, A Euro O they a Euro re part of the test a Euro our choices will shape not only the battle, but the fate of these souls. A Euro Kairos knew the consequences. Every energy strike could either protect or annihilate them. For the first time, the limit breaks had to extend beyond raw combat a Euro, they needed ethical synchronization, a mastery of restraint and judgment. Focusing inward, Kairos initiated ultimate harmonic ascension, an evolution of his previous abilities. Now, He could synchronize his limit break with the storm, the relics, Leora, Arindor, and even the consciousness of the spectral ascendants. The storm responded to his will Euro, not through domination, but through resonance. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance amplified this connection, allowing her to anticipate and neutralize attacks instantaneously. Arindor stabilized environmental energy currents, creating conduits for Kairos Euro's flowing power. Veyron lunged, warping reality with hyper-accelerated strikes, while Sereth mirrored every move with chaotic amplification. Even Veyros, holding the full might of the Storm Euro's core, could not anticipate the subtle harmonics Kairos wove through the battlefield. Kairos felt the Relix Euro energies converge with his own. Every spectral ascendant he had saved lent strength, their spirits stabilizing portions of the storm. The chaotic energy became an orchestra of controlled power, bending around him, rather than against him. Veyron screamed in frustration, his connection to the storm destabilizing, and Sereth faltered as their mirrored attacks now clashed with unpredictable harmonics. Veyros Euro's calm mask slipped for the first time. Impossible how can a gold-tiered ascendant synchronize with the storm itself? Euro evolved beyond what I anticipated. Kairos, eyes glowing with a brilliant aura, replied, O gold tier was only the threshold. True ascendance is beyond power Ida Euro's harmony, choice, and responsibility. The storm I collapsed partially into a sphere of controlled energy under Kairos Euro's influence. Veyros, seeing his ultimate trial unravel, focused every ounce of his power into a single streak a concentrated assault that could shatter the triad of limit breaks at once. Kairos countered with resonant ascension overdrive, channeling the combined energy of his allies, the storm, and the spectral ascendants. Light collided with dark energy, creating a shockwave that rippled across the fabric of reality itself. The force was immense. Islands of debris collapsed and reformed midair, time fractured and realigned, and spiritual currents surged unpredictably. In the eye of chaos, Kairos and Veyros clashed, their energies intertwining like opposing storms, each testing the limits of Gold Tierra Euro, and the space beyond it. The storm finally settled. Veyros Malvin vanished into the remnants of the vortex, leaving behind cryptic whispers of challenges far beyond. Even this trial, Veyron and Sereth were incapacitated, but their potential remained a looming threat for future confrontations. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stood amid floating ruins, the relics now stabilized under their control. Every step forward, every choice, had shaped the storm itself. They had transcended gold-tier understanding, but the cost was clear. True ascendance required more than strength it demanded wisdom, moral clarity, and unity. Kairos turned to his allies, his aura still radiating residual energy. Oath storm has passed but the ascension ladder stretches infinitely. Veyros Euro's game is far from over. And beyond Gold Tierra the real battles will test not only our power, but who we are. From the shadows, unseen by any eye, Veyros Malvin whispered, they survived but survival is only the beginning. The true ascension trials the storms that define destiny are yet to come. The skies above Obsidian Gate burned with streaks of rogue energy, remnants of the ascension storm. Reports from the territories painted a grim picture. Destabilized regions, corrupted ascendants, and relics gone missing at an alarming rate. The Shadow Secta's reach had expanded far beyond what anyone had anticipated. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor convened in the Hall of Celestial Guardians. Relics recovered from the Obsidian Spire lay before them, pulsating faintly. Each one represented power beyond Gold Tierra and danger beyond comprehension. Arahan Vale spoke gravely. Veyros Malvin is not just testing strength. He is orchestrating ascension itself to bend to his will. Every relic destabilized, every ascendant corrupted, moves the world closer to his storm. You three you are no longer just fighters. You are the fulcrum on which the future of ascension balances. Kairos clenched the scepter of Velfire, the hum of its energy echoing through the hall. Ve survived storms, illusions, and battles that tested everything. But now Ida more than power. We have to anticipate, counter, and protect the ascension itself. Arahan Vale revealed intelligence of other ascendants who had resisted the Shadow Secta's influence. Caliph the Flameright, a gold-tier ascendant who could manipulate temporal fire, allowing him to alter the speed of matter and energy in localized zones. Silvera of the Veiled Hunt, an elusive scout capable of erasing traces of spiritual energy, perfect for infiltration missions. Draxian, the Iron Sage, a master of relic synergy, able to combine multiple relics to create effects surpassing individual gold tier limits. Kairos realized that to face the next stage of Veyros Euros' plan, forming alliances was not optional it was necessary. Yet, trust was fragile, the Shadow Sect had infiltrated deeper than anyone knew, and even ascendants who seemed loyal could be compromised. Meanwhile, a new threat emerged. The Fractured Ones, ascendants who had survived Veyros Euros' trials but were twisted by exposure to uncontrolled relic energy. They were powerful, unpredictable, and loyal only to chaos. Intelligence pinpointed a Shadow Sect outpost in the Shattered Peaks, a region of floating mountains and warped gravity channels. Rumors claimed the outpost housed a relic capable of bending reality itself, a codex of infinite echoes. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor set out with Kalith, Silvera, and Draxian as allies. The journey tested them as much as any battle. Floating pathways could collapse without warning, spiritual currents threatened to destabilize limit breaks, and phantom echoes of their own fears appeared along the way. Leora whispered during a particularly volatile storm, Othis ekisa they re-feeding on our doubts. We have to focus, or the mountains themselves will betray us. Kairos responded, Oave learned how to harmonize energy, environment, and intention. Now we apply that to mind and spirit. The storm is no longer just around Ida Euros inside us too. Deep in the Shattered Peaks, the group encountered the Fractured Ones. Their leader, Morith, bore relic-infused armor that distorted perception, making each attack seem to come from multiple directions simultaneously. Kairos initiated Resonant Ascension Overdrive, coordinating with his allies. Kalith Euros' temporal fire slowed attacks just enough to allow Leora and Arindor to anticipate strikes. Silvera vanished into stealth, repositioning for surgical strikes, while Draxian combined minor relics to amplify protective fields. The battle revealed a terrifying truth. The Fractured Ones could synchronize with ambient energy like Kairos, but instead of harmony, they exploited chaos. To overcome them, the team had to fight not just physically, but strategically, harmonizing their limit breaks in unpredictable ways to counter chaos with order. After subduing the Fractured Ones, the group found the Codex of Infinite Echoes, pulsing with energy that seemed aware of their thoughts. Kairos touched it carefully, sensing that any reckless use could distort reality across entire regions. Othis is beyond anything we Ve faced. Kairos said, his voice low. If Veyros Malvin gets control of this he could rewrite the Ascension hierarchy itself. Arahan Vale voice came through a comlink. We contain it. Do not attempt to harness it until we understand its mechanisms. This relic is sentient in ways we cannot fully predict. As they secured the codex, a message resonated through the spiritual currents a distorted voice, unmistakably Veyros Euros. You have won battles, tamed storms, and survived the shadow dimension. But the Ascension storm is far from over. I am preparing the trials beyond Gold Tiara where morality, loyalty, and courage will be tested, and where every choice echoes through eternity. Prepare yourselves, Kairos for the real storm is coming. Kairos tightened his grip on the scepter of Velfire, looking at his allies. Oave survived so far. But now we no longer just ascendants. We are guardians of Ascension itself. And whatever comes next, we face it together. The Codex of Infinite Echoes hummed faintly in the containment chamber at Obsidian Gate. Its pulses seemed to respond not just to energy, but to thought and emotion. Kairos studied it carefully, aware that one wrong impulse could ripple across entire realms. Arahan Vale appeared beside him, his expression grave. Othis relic is unlike anything we ever encountered. It doesn't merely store energy it records potential, probability, and consequence. Every limit break, every choice you make in proximity to Ida is reflected, amplified, and could influence events in unforeseen ways. Kairos swallowed hard. Ida not just power we need to master Ida responsibility. One misstep could undo everything we fought for. Lyra shadow resonance flared slightly as she touched the codex, synchronizing with Kairos energy. Oave survived storms, illusions, and the shadow dimension. She said softly. But this is something alive. We need to understand it before Veyros or anyone else does. Arindor nodded. It means training isn't enough. We need insight, teamwork, and foresight beyond gold tier. And we don't a Euro T have time a Euro. The Shadow Sect is mobilizing, and Veyron and Sereth are already integrating other relics into their forces. A Euro reports streamed in from other Ascension territories, floating cities destabilizing under rogue relic energy. Gold tier ascendants losing control, some turning hostile. Entire spiritual currents shifting unpredictably, disrupting limit breaks. Veyron's Malvina Euro-S strategy had become clear. A coordinated multi-realm assault to test not just individual strength, but the resilience and cohesion of the ascendants across the known worlds. Kairos gathered the team. A Euro Oave a Eurove been preparing for battles, but this is bigger. Ida Euro S not just about fighting a Euro, Ida Euro S about strategy, alliances, and preventing the collapse of Ascension itself. A Euro Calith the Flameright stepped forward. A Euro O can divide our forces, strike at key nodes where relic energy is most unstable. But we Euro LL need coordination that transcends conventional communication. A Euro Silvera of the Veiled Hunt added, A Euro Oi can establish ghost channels through spiritual currents, letting us synchronize in real time across realms. But the enemy knows we Euro LL do this a Euro, they a Euro LL set traps that exploit our thoughts and fears. A Euro Draxian, the Iron Sage, studied the codex from a distance. A Euro if we can attune it with our combined limit breaks, we might stabilize affected regions temporarily. But one false move a Euro and we risk cascading failures that could destroy entire territories. A Euro the first target was the Shattered Expanse, a volatile region of floating terrain, rogue energy surges, and fractured spiritual currents. Reports indicated the presence of several fractured ones, now acting as field commanders for the Shadow Sect. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, Calith, Silvera, and Draxian advanced together. The landscape shifted under their feet, gravity inverted without warning, energy streams pulsed unpredictably, and phantom echoes of past failures appeared to mislead them. Kairos activated Resonant Ascension, harmonizing with his allies. Lyra Euro-S Shadow Resonance allowed her to anticipate attacks and stabilize rogue currents locally. Arindor manipulated environmental energy flows, redirecting destructive surges. Calith Euro-S Temporal Fire slowed critical attacks, Silvera eliminated energy traces to prevent ambushes, and Draxian merged relic energy to amplify protective shields. They encountered Morith and a squad of fractured ones. This battle was unlike any they had faced a Euro. The fractured ones didn't a Euro T just attack, they manipulated space and energy, turning terrain and spiritual currents against the team. Kairos realized brute force wouldn't a Euro T work. Using harmonic ascension evolution, he synchronized not just with energy and terrain, but with the intentions and emotions of his allies, creating a unified flow that could counter chaos with precision. After a grueling confrontation, they subdued the fractured ones and stabilized the Shattered Expanse Euro, at least temporarily. But it became clear, the Shadow Sect had multiple nodes across realms, each protected by sentient relics and elite ascendants who had embraced chaos fully. As the team regrouped, the codex pulsed violently, projecting visions, ascendants confronting impossible choices where morality and survival were at odds. Regions collapsing under rogue relic energy and less precise synchronization occurred. Veyron's Malvin observing, manipulating outcomes not directly, but through cascading probabilities. Kairos a Euro-S pulse resonated with the codex. He whispered, A Euro O gold tier is the baseline. Beyond this a Euro we Euro re going to need clarity, foresight, and courage beyond anything we Eurove learned. Every decision now a Euro could echo across time and realms. A Euro from the shadows of a distant realm, Veyros a Euro-S voice whispered through the currents, A Euro O you have adapted, survived, and grown. But the storm is far from over. The ascension beyond gold tier will demand sacrifices, choices, and truths you are not yet ready to face. Prepare yourself as a Euro for every bond, every principle, and every fragment of your limit break will be tested. A Euro Kairos looked at his team, determination in his eyes. A Euro Oave a Eurove faced the impossible. But this a Euro this is what ascension truly is. And whatever comes, we will face it together. A Euro the team departed from the Shattered Expanse, moving through the corridors of unstable spiritual currents that connected realms. The codex of infinite echoes pulsed rhythmically, as if guiding them toward areas of critical imbalance. Arahan Vale appeared via spiritual projection. A Euro Oath Shadow Secta Euro-S operations are expanding faster than anticipated. Each node they control now influences adjacent realms, creating a cascading destabilization. You must act carefully. Each choice has ramifications across time, energy, and existence itself. A Euro Kairos clenched the scepter of Velfire. A Euro Oave a Eurove stabilized one node. We can stabilize others. But this is bigger than any battle they fought. This is a war across reality itself. Their next destination was the nexus of mirrors a realm where reflections were not mere images, but sentient projections of potential futures, past failures, and hidden fears. Veyros had stationed Sereth and Veyron here, each enhanced with additional relics, creating duplicates and distortions that could manipulate reality. As soon as they entered, the landscape shifted, platforms became liquid, gravity inverted, and spectral echoes of their allies and enemies began to attack, forcing the team to confront both physical and psychological threats simultaneously. Kairos activated Resonant Ascension, attempting to harmonize with the realm Euro's fluctuating currents. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance allowed her to separate real threats from projections. Arindor created stabilizing nodes to anchor their position, while Kalith slowed the temporal anomalies that threatened to fracture perception. Silvera and Draxian coordinated with the Codex, attempting to trace the source of the realm Euro's distortions. The Codex pulsed violently, projecting visions of multiple branching possibilities, a reality where Kairos misjudged Sereth Euro's attack and Leora was gravely injured. A timeline where Arindor Euro's stabilization failed, collapsing the Nexus entirely. An outcome where Veyron merged fully with the Nexus energy, becoming untouchable. Kairos realized that brute force alone would not suffice. To survive and win, they needed to manipulate probabilities, not just physical energy. Sereth emerged first, a perfect mirror of Kairos. Each attack replicated Kairos Euro's limit break, forcing him to innovate constantly. You can harmonize, but can you discern the real from the echo? Sereth taunted. Veyron followed, warping the Nexus itself. Gravity became fluid, platforms twisted like ribbons, and energy currents turned against the team. Kairos focused, channeling harmonic ascension deeper than ever before, synchronizing not only with Leora and Arindor, but also with their thoughts, emotions, and intentions. The team Euro's combined energy began to stabilize the Nexus, but the realm fought back, manifesting fears and doubts. Kairos faced visions of every life he had failed to protect. Leora confronted illusions of betrayal by friends she had trusted. Arindor saw failures in strategy that could annihilate countless realms. Through sheer focus, trust, and synchronization, they overcame the psychological trials, realizing that ascension beyond gold tier demanded mastery of self and others, not just energy. Kairos identified the core, a relic embedded at the center of the Nexus, amplifying both Sereth and Veyron. Using Resonant Ascension, he synchronized with the Codex and his allies, generating a pulse that disrupted the relic Euro's amplification without destroying it, carefully avoiding a cascade that could collapse adjacent realities. Sereth Euro's mirrored attacks shattered into fragments of energy, neutralized by the team Euro's precise coordination. Veyron, enraged, attempted a final surge but was repelled by Kairos Euro's perfected harmonic flow, forcing him to retreat further into hidden dimensions with Sereth at his side. The Nexus stabilized temporarily, though its energies remained volatile. The Codex, responding to their synchronization, pulsed once, as if acknowledging their new level of mastery. Back at Obsidian Gate, the team recovered, exhausted but aware of their evolution. Kairos held the scepter of Velfire. Gold tier was never the end. Now we see what comes after the ascension storm Veyros spoke of. We Vey survived the trials, but the real war is just beginning. Arahan Vale nodded gravely. Vey learned to harmonize, to synchronize, and to control beyond raw strength. But the Shadow Secta Euro's ultimate goal is not merely domination. They seek to rewrite the Ascension hierarchy itself, merging relics, energies, and consciousness across realms. Your next challenge will not be a battle you can fight it will be a reality you must navigate. In the shadows, Veyros Malvin observed the stabilized Nexus remotely. They are growing faster than anticipated. But the Ascension storm will not be tamed by skill alone. Soon, the choice between power, responsibility, and survival will demand more than even they can comprehend. Kairos looked to his friends. Vey faced impossible odds before. Now, the impossible is the new normal. And whatever comes, we receive together. The recovered relics from the Obsidian Spire pulsed with a hidden rhythm, as if alive and aware. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor gathered in the Hall of Celestial Guardians to analyze them. Each relic radiated gold tier energy but together, their interactions hinted at forces far beyond comprehension. Arahan Valea Euro's eyes were grave. These relics when combined, could either stabilize or shatter entire ascension nodes. Veyro's Malvina Euro's plan is clear. He intends to converge them, creating a chain reaction across multiple realms. If he succeeds, the Ascendant hierarchy could collapse, and powers beyond Gold Tier could be unleashed without control. Silvera, the Archivist, gestured toward the Codex of Infinite Echoes. The relics resonate with one another. Their energy patterns reforming a nexus. If we can intervene at the convergence point, we may prevent catastrophic destabilization. But we LL face not only the elite operatives guarding it, but the relics themselves. They respond to intent, emotion, and synchronization. Misalignment could be fatal. Kairos held the scepter of Velfire. Then we proceed together. Every limit break, every technique everything we learned will be tested. But this is what Ascension beyond Gold Tier demands. The convergence node existed in a multi-realm corridor known as the Ethereal Pathways, a series of overlapping dimensions where space, time, and energy intertwined unpredictably. The pathways twisted reality. Mountains folded into rivers, skies bled into forests, and floating platforms rotated on impossible axes. Kairos activated Resonant Ascension, feeling the ebb and flow of the corridor's spiritual currents. Lyra's shadow resonance allowed the team to move in perfect synchrony, avoiding spatial traps and ambushes. Arindor stabilized localized energy nodes to prevent temporal fractures. As they advanced, the team encountered Orion Shades, spectral enforcers of the Shadow Sect capable of phasing between realities, mirroring attacks, and feeding off the team's fear and hesitation. Every step forward required precise coordination. An imbalance in energy or focus could fracture the corridor, trapping them in a temporal loop. At the heart of the ethereal pathways stood the convergence chamber, guarded by 3 elite operatives. Veyra, the Prism Warden able to refract energy attacks into multiple dimensions simultaneously. Dravik, the Temporal Marauder manipulates time, speeding up or slowing perception and movement to disorient opponents. Kalaith, the Soul Weaver capable of binding spiritual energy to intent, turning thoughts and fears against the Ascendants. The battle erupted instantly. Veyron and Sereth, recovered from previous defeats, joined the fray, their relics amplifying the chaos. Kairos merged harmonic ascension with the relics' latent energy, creating a synchronized triad with Leora and Lyra's shadow resonance allowed precise timing, countering Dravika's temporal manipulations. Arindor stabilized the battlefield, redirecting refracted attacks from Veyra. Mid-battle, the relics reacted violently. They fed off emotions, projecting visions of alternate realities. Kairos saw a timeline where he failed to stop Veyros, and Ascension descended into chaos. Leora faced betrayals by her closest allies, questioning her trust in the team. Arindor confronted every tactical error he had ever made, amplified beyond comprehension. The relics forced the team to make choices in real time, prioritize stabilization, attack, or protect one another. Every hesitation risked catastrophic consequences. Kairos realized the fight was no longer about defeating enemies. It was about mastering control over the convergence itself. Using Resonant Ascension at its peak, Kairos synchronized their energy with the relics' flow, turning the elite operative's amplified attacks into controlled bursts that could be absorbed and redirected. At the critical moment, Kairos channeled a precise pulse through the scepter of Velfire, harmonizing with the relics' resonance. Leora amplified the focus via shadow resonance, while Arindor anchored the node, preventing collapse. The convergence node stabilized, but the elite operatives were pushed to retreat. Veyrona's spectral form flickered, Seretha's mirror attack splintered, and Veyra, Dravik, and Kalaith were forced into temporary withdrawal. Kairos understood the implications. The convergence could have easily destroyed the node and destabilized multiple realms. The team had not merely survived they had learned to manipulate post-Gold Tier energy with precision, judgment, and moral clarity. Back at Obsidian Gate, the team recovered, each of them forever altered. Kairos held the scepter, feeling the pulse of the relics. Oave controlled what was meant to control us. But Veyro's Malvina's plan is far from finished. The convergence was only the beginning. The storm he warned about is rising. Arahan Vale observed the Codex. Beyond Gold Tier, ascension is not a matter of power alone. It is judgment, synchronization, and responsibility. The Shadow Sect seeks to manipulate every limit, every choice, and every energy flow. The next phase will test not just your skills, but your very principles. A euro in the distance, Veros Malvina Euro's laughter echoed through interdimensional channels. A euro o they have survived a euro, but survival is only the prelude. Soon, the ascension storm will demand more than their limit breaks can provide. It will demand everything a euro, their strength, their minds, and the very essence of their souls. A euro Kairos looked to Leora and Arindor. A euro oath storm is coming. And we euro LL face ida euro together. No matter the cost. A euro the calm after the convergence node battle was fleeting. Reports flooded Obsidian Gate. Rogue relics had destabilized entire territories, spiritual energy fluxes were surpassing gold tier limits, and ascendants across multiple realms were struggling to maintain control. Veros Malvina Euro's influence was spreading faster than anyone had anticipated. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor convened in the strategy chamber, the recovered relics hovering around them like sentient observers. Arahan Vale spoke gravely. A euro oath shadow sect is no longer testing boundaries a euro, they are rewriting them. Their plan is to force the Ascendant Order into a reactive state, fragmenting leadership and destabilizing the hierarchy. If we do not act decisively, the very concept of ascension could collapse. A euro Kairos clenched the scepter of Velfire. A euro o then we must take the initiative. We can't a euro t just react anymore a euro, we have to anticipate, control, and strike where it hurts most. A euro their mission led them to the Shattered Reaches, a region torn by relic-induced chaos. Mountains floated, rivers twisted through the sky, and spiritual currents pulsed unpredictably. Here, Veros Malvin had positioned elite operatives to harness the chaos, creating zones of amplified destruction. Kairos deployed Resonant Ascension, merging fully with the ambient energy and relics. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance allowed them to navigate safely through the unstable terrain, while Arindor stabilized nodes of rogue energy, preventing catastrophic collapses. In the heart of the Reaches, they encountered the triumvirate of Ruina Euro, three ascendants empowered by Shadow Sect relics. Malvith, the Void Brand A Euro, manipulates void energy, erasing matter and energy with precise, surgical strikes. Alethra, the Minfract A Euro, projects illusions and psychic attacks, destabilizing perception and focus. Kalith, the Chronoweaver A Euro, alters localized time flows, creating areas where seconds could stretch to hours or collapse instantly. Each attack forced the trio to adapt beyond gold tier understanding. Harmonic Ascension had evolved to resonant synchrony, allowing Kairos to anticipate and harmonize not just with energy, but with time distortions, psychic assaults, and void manipulations. During the battle, the relics responded violently to emotional and moral tension. Illusions forced the team to confront the consequences of potential failure. Kairos saw entire realms destroyed if he misused his limit break. Leora faced visions of allies turned against her due to misjudgment. Arindor experienced every strategic miscalculation magnified to catastrophic scales. The relics required more than raw power. The Ascendants had to demonstrate judgment, moral clarity, and synchronization of intent. Hesitation or doubt could fracture their limit breaks, leaving them vulnerable to annihilation. Kairos realized the key was not to overpower the elite, but to harmonize with the storm itself. Using resonant synchrony, he merged harmonic ascension with the ambient relic energy, creating a feedback loop that absorbed, redirected, and amplified attacks against the triumvirate. Leora used shadow resonance to anticipate and counter illusions, stabilizing their focus. Arindor manipulated temporal currents, nullifying Kalith Euro's chronoweaving zones. Together, they transformed the chaotic battlefield into a controlled symphony of energy and timing, forcing the elite operatives into retreat. With the triumvirate defeated, the Shattered Reaches began to stabilize, but the relics pulsed with an ominous warning: the storm was far from over. Veros Malvina Euro's plan was not merely to destabilize regions a euro, it was to reshape Ascension itself, forcing every Ascendant to confront choices with consequences that transcended power. Kairos looked to Leora and Arindor, exhaustion etched into their features. A euro othis a euro is only the beginning. Veros isna euro t just testing our strength. Hey a euro s testing our judgment, our resolve, and our ability to lead the Ascension into the future. A euro Arahan Vale appeared in a projection of spiritual energy. A euro o the Ascension storm has begun. Your limit breaks are evolving, but so too must your understanding. Beyond gold tier, power is meaningless without clarity, foresight, and unity. Prepare yourself as a euro. The next wave will test not just your strength, but your very essence as Ascendants. A euro from a distant void, Veros Malvin observed, a faint smile crossing his face. A euro o they have survived the first wave a euro, but the Ascension storm will not be tamed. Soon, every choice, every action, and every limit break will carry consequences they cannot yet imagine. Let the real trials begin. Kairos clenched the scepter of Velfire, energy pulsing in sync with the relics. Oave faced the impossible and survived. But the Ascension storm the real battle is just beginning. The weeks following the Shattered Reaches campaign were anything but restful. Territories across Ascension were reporting catastrophic relic surges, rogue ascendant uprisings, and zones of spiritual chaos that defied gold tier stabilization. Veyros Malvina's hand was everywhere, yet invisible a shadow shaping reality itself. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor convened at Obsidian Gate, reviewing intelligence on the next hotspot, the Fractured Nexus, a convergence of spiritual currents from multiple realms, now destabilized by the Shadow Secta relic network. The Nexus was notorious, even seasoned gold tier ascendants approached it cautiously. Arahan Valea's tone was unusually grave. A fractured nexus is where the lines between realms blur. Veyros aims to exploit this convergence. Any miscalculation could result in permanent collapse. Realms may merge, fracture, or disappear entirely. You are the only ones with limit breaks evolved enough to attempt intervention. The trio arrived to a sight unlike any before. Skies burned with cascading energy, rivers of spiritual currents flowed in impossible loops, floating landmasses rotated unpredictably. Rogue relic energy twisted the laws of physics and time, creating a battlefield of perpetual flux. From the chaos emerged the harbingers of flux, elite ascendants enhanced by the Shadow Secta relics. Zephyros, the Tempest wielder controls winds and storms of spiritual energy, capable of tearing apart floating landmasses. Orintha, the Mind Lattice manipulates psychic energy to weaponize thought, trapping ascendants in self-made labyrinths. Draven, the Chronosunder can fracture localized time, creating loops, accelerations, and collapses that disorient and exhaust opponents. Kairos immediately deployed resonant synchrony, merging harmonic ascension with the unstable currents of the Nexus. Lyra's shadow resonance synchronized perfectly with him, allowing them to anticipate spatial distortions and psychic illusions, while Arindor stabilized rogue energy nodes to prevent landmasses from collapsing entirely. The Harbingers tested more than strength they attacked perception, timing, and judgment. Zephyros summoned a hurricane of spiritual energy, fracturing the battlefield and forcing Kairos to harmonize every strike with floating debris while resisting being thrown into the void. Orintha trapped Leora in psychic loops of past failures, forcing her to confront her deepest doubts about every life lost in prior battles. Draven fractured the flow of time around Arindor, accelerating seconds into minutes and slowing minutes into nanoseconds, challenging his ability to maintain precise energy stabilization. Kairos realized the battle demanded post-gold tier thinking, understanding not just energy, but the relational flow between thought, emotion, environment, and time. Hesitation would lead to collapse, recklessness would lead to annihilation. Through intense focus, Kairos evolved harmonic ascension into concordant ascension, a technique allowing him to synchronize with multiple streams of energy and perception simultaneously, blending spatial, temporal, and psychic currents into a single coordinated flow. Lyra's shadow resonance became echoed shadow, allowing her to project multiple synchronized responses across fragmented timelines. Arindor refined temporal conduits, stabilizing time anomalies and redirecting destructive loops into harmless channels. Together, they formed a triad capable of harmonizing not just with energy, but with the very rules of reality at the Nexus. One by one, the Harbingers fell back, unable to maintain their control over the environment against the Trio's synchronized limit breaks. With the Harbingers neutralized, the fractured Nexus began to stabilize. Yet, the relics embedded within the environment pulsed ominously, reacting to the Trio's evolving powers. It was a clear message. Veyros Malvin was observing, adjusting, and preparing the next stage of the Ascension storm. Kairos looked over the Nexus, exhaustion and determination etched on his face. Arch victory is a Lasona but the storm is far from over. Gold tier was the threshold. We Vey survived post-gold challenges, but what comes next will demand every ounce of clarity, every shred of wisdom, and every bond we Vey forged. Lyra's eyes gleamed with resolve. Veyros is no longer testing strength. Is testing the essence of ascendants themselves. We must be ready for choices that could define reality. Arindor nodded, projecting a tactical hologram of relic flux across the multirealm. A euro e and every step we take will ripple across the ascension hierarchy. One misjudgment, and entire realms could fall. This storm a euro it doesn't a euro t just break limits a euro, it reshapes everything we know. A euro from the shadowed interdimensional vantage, Veyros Malvin whispered to himself, a faint smile crossing his features. A euro oh they adapt faster than expected a euro but they still cannot see the full storm. Soon, every decision will demand a cost they cannot calculate, and the ascension itself will tremble before me. A euro Kairos tightened his grip on the scepter of Velfire, its energy pulsing with resonance from the nexus. A euro oh the ascension storm has only just begun, a euro he said quietly. A euro oh but we will endure. And we will receive euro beyond every limit. A euro the weeks following the fractured nexus battle brought no respite. Reports from across ascension territories detailed unprecedented disturbances. Floating cities destabilizing, spiritual currents collapsing, and rogue relics erupting with uncontrollable power. The Ascendant Order recognized a terrifying truth. Veyros Malvina Euro's plan had shifted from testing individual ascendants to orchestrating a multiversal storm, threatening the very fabric of reality. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor convened in the Hall of Celestial Guardians, the walls glowing faintly with protective sigils. Arahan Valea Euro's tone carried urgency unlike ever before. A euro Veyros has discovered a method to synchronize relic energy across realms. The ascension hierarchy itself is at risk. If the storm continues unchecked, entire realities may collapse or merge. This is no longer a battlefield a euro, it is a crucible for existence itself. A euro the trio a euro's next mission led them to the luminous rift, a tear between realms where multiple realities intersected. The sky shimmered with prismatic energy, floating landmasses rotated along impossible axes, gravity twisted unpredictably. Inhabitants of nearby realms were being pulled into temporal loops or erased entirely. From the shifting rift emerged the Riftborn, ascendants corrupted by multiversal instability. Valeth, the fractured mind a euro, can manipulate multiple versions of herself across intersecting realities, creating mirrored assaults that anticipate every move. Callith, the gravity weaver a euro, bends gravitational fields to crush or scatter opponents across impossible distances. Thrios, the eternal cycle a euro, controls looping time segments, trapping enemies in repeated sequences of attacks or environmental hazards. Kairos immediately activated Resonant Ascension, extending it to multiversal concord, allowing him to harmonize with the intersecting energies of parallel realities. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance evolved into dimensional echo, letting her synchronize across multiple temporal loops simultaneously. Arindor projected inter-realm stabilizers, preventing the destabilized realities from fracturing further under the assault. The Riftborn tested every limit of perception and strategy. Valeth projected multiple selves, each operating in a slightly shifted reality. One misstep, and Kairos could strike an illusion instead of the real target. Callitha Euro's gravitational manipulations ripped floating landmasses from one reality into another, threatening to crush or displace the team across dimensions. Thrios accelerated and reversed localized time segments, forcing Arindor to calculate temporal flow across 3 simultaneous timelines to stabilize platforms and energy nodes. Kairos realized brute force would fail. He needed meta-perception, a way to intuit the flows of energy, time, and intent across multiple dimensions. He pushed harmonic ascension further, evolving it into omni-ascension, a limit break capable of perceiving and influencing overlapping realities simultaneously. Leora amplified the effect through dimensional echo, allowing coordinated strikes that hit every Valeth projection at once. Arindor adjusted inter-realm stabilizers to redirect gravitational distortions, creating safe zones amidst chaotic terrain. For hours, the battle raged across fractured skies, looping rivers, and floating continents. The Riftborn fell back one by one, unable to maintain control against the synchronized triad of Kairos, Leora, and Arindor. As the last Riftborn dissipated, the luminous rift pulsed violently. From the core of the multiversal tear, a new figure emerged. Veyros Malvin himself, his aura amplified by relics harvested from multiple realities. Time, space, and spiritual energy bent unnaturally around him, creating a zone where even limit breaks seemed unstable. A euro oh you have done well, a euro Veyros a euro's voice echoed, layered across multiple dimensions. A euro oh but this storm a euro this ascension beyond Gold Tierra euro is far from over. You think coordination and synchronization are enough. You have not yet seen what it truly costs to hold power over reality itself. A euro Kairos gritted his teeth, feeling the pull of every reality in dissonance around him. A euro Oeve a euro Ve faced impossible odds before. We Eurove learn to rise beyond gold tier. Whatever this Isa Euro we will endure. A Euro Veros raised his hand, and the multiversal storm intensified. Islands of reality collided, spiritual energy surged to catastrophic levels, and rogue relics activated simultaneously. The trio realized that defeating him would require not only power, but moral clarity, judgment, and a mastery over the consequences of every action across realities. Kairos steadied himself, feeling the weight of every reality pressing down. The unstable energy surged, threatening to fracture not only the battlefield but the very essence of their limit breaks. Lyra Euro's eyes narrowed, shadow resonance humming as she extended dimensional echo to stabilize the overlapping timelines. Arindora Euro's hands glowed with golden conduits, inter-realm stabilizers anchoring floating platforms that twisted violently under gravitational distortions. Verosa Euro's presence dominated the multiversal storm. Every movement he made warped time, bending space and channeling spiritual energy into chaotic patterns. It was no longer a battle of strikes and counters a Euro, it was a test of foresight, intuition, and understanding the consequences of every single action across realities. One wrong choice, one misaligned attack, and the balance of entire worlds could collapse. Kairos focused, reaching deep into the evolved Omni-Ascension. He allowed his consciousness to expand across the overlapping dimensions, perceiving the converging currents of energy, intent, and probability. Shadows of potential futures flickered before him, some showing victory, some obliteration. Each choice echoed through countless realities, each action a ripple with irreversible consequences. A Euro Oliora, Arindora Euro, we must synchronize fully, A Euro Kairos said, his voice calm but charged with energy. A Euro O every strike, every defense Euro we act as one. Our limit breaks must not just match the storm, they must become part of it. A Euro Leora nodded, extending dimensional echo further, syncing with Kairos A Euro's resonance in every temporal loop. Arindor adjusted his inter-realm stabilizers, stabilizing the converging realities while anticipating Verosa Euro's next manipulations. The first coordinated strike hit like a symphony of light and shadow. Kairos channeled Omni-Ascension through the overlapping currents, harmonizing with Lyra Euro's echoes and Arindora Euro's stabilized flows. Their combined attack pierced the veil of Verosa Euro's reality-bending aura, forcing him to react, to recalibrate, to confront the unified power of three transcendent limit breaks working in perfect concord. Yet Veros was not so easily shaken. He split the multiversal storm into fractal zones, each with its own chaotic rules, gravity inverted, time looped, and energy currents collided in destructive patterns. Even within a single zone, one misstep could annihilate an ascendant. Kairos Euro's vision expanded. He saw that brute force was useless here. Victory would come not from overpowering Veros but from understanding the rules of each reality and manipulating them in harmony with the storm. He realized for the first time that ascension beyond gold tier demanded not just power or mastery, but wisdom, restraint, and the courage to wield consequences that could span entire worlds. From the shadows of a collapsing dimensional bridge, Veros log at a Euro, a sound that fractured across realities. A Euro impressive, a Euro he said. A Euro oh you are beginning to grasp the cost of ascension. But can you endure the weight of omnipotence? Can you choose correctly when every action reshapes countless lives? A Euro the storm intensified. Floating continents collided, relics pulsed unpredictably, and temporal loops threatened to trap the trio forever. Kairos inhaled, letting the omniversal currents flow through him. This was more than a battle a Euro, it was a crucible for their very souls. And in that crucible, Kairos, Leora, and Arindor prepared to take the next step, to turn the ascension storm itself against Veros Malvin. Kairos closed his eyes, letting the omniversal currents flow through him, feeling every reality pulse, clash, and resonate. A single thought could split or stabilize entire timelines, yet he understood, hesitation was fatal. He whispered the incantation of harmonic resonance, and his limit break evolved again a Euro, omni-harmonic ascension, a technique capable of bending the storm itself. Lyra Euro's shadow resonance flared brilliantly, intertwining with Kairos Euro's expanded energy. Together, they created a lattice of synchronized currents that could redirect rogue energy across dimensions. Arindora Euro's stabilizers transformed into conduits of raw multiversal control, projecting protective frameworks while simultaneously amplifying offensive vectors. Veros Malvina Euro's smirk faltered as he observed their transformation. A Euro so a Euro the boy is learning, a Euro he muttered. A Euro oh but this power a Euro it will consume you if you are not careful. A Euro without warning the battle escalated. Entire temporal zones tore apart, collapsing into voids, while fragments of alternate realities collided with one another. Sereth and Veyron emerged from residual folds of space, their limit breaks now augmented by stolen relic energy. Sereth mirrored the Trio Euro's omni-harmonic waves, producing cascading duplicates that threatened to overwhelm every defensive and offensive measure. Kairos reacted instantly. By channeling omni-harmonic ascension, he differentiated the authentic energy from Sereth Euro's copious Euro, not through force, but by intent, emotion, and subtle resonance patterns. Leora and Arindor mirrored him, creating a triad of synchronized flow that shattered the mirrored attacks. The duplicates dissolved, collapsing into harmless sparks of temporal energy. Veyron roared, bending a gravity zone around him to crush the trio against an inverted horizon. Kairos extended omni-harmonic ascension, merging the storm currents with the fabric of the zone. Gravity reversed, spatial distortion stabilized, and the three moved as if the chaotic reality itself were an extension of their bodies. Veyros clenched his fists. Impossible how can you bend all of this without being consumed? Kairos opened his eyes, golden and unwavering. Because we are not alone. We are the storm, the harmony, and the choice. And we will rise beyond every limit they prepared. In a single, synchronized strike, the trio channeled their combined energies through the collapsed dimensions, targeting the central nexus where Veyros relic amplification converged. The pulse radiated outward, restructuring the multiversal chaos. Zones stabilized, rogue energy currents aligned, and fragments of alternate realities returned to coherent existence but at the epicenter, Veyros power faltered. The collapse of his nexus created a shockwave that ripped through the battlefield. Sereth and Veyron were thrown back, their amplified powers destabilized. For a brief moment, Veyros Malvina composed demeanor shattered into fury. This is far from over, he hissed, retreating into a temporal rift that shimmered with untapped relic energy. Storm has only begun. And soon the consequences of your ascension will weigh on every reality you hold dear. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stood amid the slowly stabilizing realities, their limit breaks still resonating with the omniversal currents. Exhaustion weighed on them, but a profound clarity settled in. They had survived the crucible. They had evolved beyond gold tier, not merely in strength, but in wisdom, synchronization, and understanding of consequences that spanned realities. Arindor exhaled, eyes scanning the still-shifting horizon. They won this battle but Veyros next move will not be conventional. Exploit the cracks we cannot yet see. Lyra's voice was calm, yet firm. Then we prepare. We adapt, and we recede beyond gold tier, beyond every limit. This storm it will forge us into ascendants capable of shaping reality itself. Kairos looked to the horizon, feeling the pulse of the omniversal currents linger in his body. Veyros thinks he controls the storm, but he doesn't yet understand we are the storm now. From the shadows of collapsing dimensions, Veyros Malvina's voice echoed, distorted and omnipresent. They are growing but every choice has a cost. The next trial will demand not just strength, but sacrifice and I will ensure that every ascendant understands the weight of true omnipotence. The ascension storm had passed, but its aftermath would ripple across countless realities. And for Kairos and his allies, the journey beyond gold tier and into the true hierarchy of ascendance was only just beginning. The skies above Obsidian Gate were fractured, streaked with residual energy from the ascension storm. Even from a distance, Kairos could feel the ripples of the omniversal currents subtle, persistent vibrations that indicated fractured realities, rogue ascendants, and relics out of alignment. Arahan Vale convened an emergency council. Among the members were veteran ascendants, tacticians, and scholars who had never seen energy distortions of this magnitude. The ascension storm has changed the balance of power. Arahan began, voice grave. Veyros Malvin is no longer a hidden threat he is a force capable of destabilizing multiple realities. And his manipulations will attract those who seek to exploit the chaos. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stood together, energy still faintly pulsing around them. Cannot just defend, Kairos said firmly. Have to act. Veyros next step will target relic concentrations, and if he succeeds, entire regions could be erased or worse, enslaved by rogue ascendants. Lyra's eyes glowed with shadow resonance. Then we split the operations. We secure the relics we know about, stabilize fractured territories, and track residual energy patterns that might indicate new elite operatives. Arindor added, E and we prepare for Veyron and Sereth. They LL recover quickly, and their mastery over relic energy has grown. If we face them again without strategy, even omni-harmonic ascension might not be enough. From the council chamber, a scout reported urgent news. A temporal fracture has appeared in the Veil of Mirrors sector. Energy readings indicate at least 2 rogue ascendants engaging in uncontrolled limit breaks likely drawn by the aftermath of the ascension storm. Kairos exchanged a look with Leora and Arindor. Then we move immediately. Every second we wait, Veyros influence spreads. The trio arrived in a sector of reality where the very laws of physics had warped. Mountains bent toward the sky like liquid, rivers flowed upside down, and the horizon fractured into infinite reflections. The rogue ascendants moved unpredictably, their limit breaks tearing reality asunder. Kairos deployed harmonic resonance, this time evolving it into multiversal sync, allowing him to anticipate the rogue ascendants' attacks across multiple temporal and spatial axes simultaneously. Lyra shadow resonance created adaptive synchronization points, letting them anticipate mirrored attacks and illusions. Arindor conduits stabilized zones long enough for offensive strategies to connect. The battle was brutal, stretching their powers to unprecedented limits. Each rogue ascendant carried relic fragments attuned to distortions in reality, creating unpredictable effects, gravity inversions, time loops, and spectral clones. Kairos realized that fighting them directly risked collapsing the sector entirely. Instead, he employed resonant ascension, redirecting their energy flows and gradually drawing the rogue ascendants into a feedback loop that neutralized their uncontrolled powers. Leora and Arindor reinforced the lattice, preventing catastrophic overflow. After hours of synchronized effort, the rogue ascendants collapsed, their relic fragments safely contained. But the Veil of Mirrors was now scarred, and residual energy hinted at lingering temporal anomalies subtle fissures that could attract more elite operatives or relic-driven chaos. Far beyond the veil, in a hidden sanctum vibrating with dark relic energy, Veyros Malvin observed. They are adapting faster than anticipated. He mused, stroking his chin. But the storm has only begun. The next phase requires refinement, manipulation beyond their comprehension. Let the ascendants chase fragments, illusions, and Ekisa while I prepare the trial that will define the very hierarchy of power. A holographic map displayed fractured territories, rogue ascendants, and unstable relic concentrations. Veyros fingers traced lines of strategy, his eyes glinting with anticipation. Be the time they realize the true scale the ascension hierarchy itself will be redefined and the choices they make will bind or break every reality they touch. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor regrouped at Obsidian Gate, weary but resolute. Kairos clenched the scepter of Velfire, feeling its hum resonate with residual omniversal currents. Ve survived storms, realities, and rogue ascendants, Kairos said quietly. But the true challenge the trials beyond gold tier, the manipulation of relics, and the consequences of every choice that is the real battle. And I will not fail. Leora placed a hand on his shoulder. Rise together. Whatever comes, we will face Ida and master it. Arindor nodded, surveying the horizon. The ascension ladder extends beyond comprehension. But step by step, we climb and we will not falter. In the shadows, Veyros Malvina's laughter echoed faintly across realities, a chilling reminder that the storm of ascension was far from a Vera and the trials that awaited would demand not just power, but every ounce of wisdom, judgment, and courage the trio possessed. The energy across ascendant territories was unstable. Reports flooded Obsidian Gate. Relics were reacting unpredictably, spiritual currents fluctuated violently, and ascendants across multiple regions reported encounters with spectral anomalies that seemed alive. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stood before a newly formed council of elite ascendants. Arahan Valea's expression was grave. Veyros Malvina's next move is clear, Arahan said. Is converging relics powerful artifacts from multiple dimensions into a single locus. If successful, he will create a focal point of limit break amplification unlike anything in recorded ascension history. That locus will be capable of rewriting the balance of power entirely. Kairos eyes narrowed. Then we strike before he completes it. But this is no ordinary battle Ida Euro S a race across realities, against time itself. A Euro Lyra Euro S shadow resonance rippled with energy. A Euro E and Ida Euro S not just physical confrontation. We Euro LL face traps, illusions, and temporal distortions. A Euro, everything designed to fracture our coordination and understanding. A Euro Arindor tapped a holographic map. A Euro Oave a Euro LL need to split into 3 teams across converging realities. Each team must secure a relic, stabilize the local environment, and report back. Failure in one location could trigger chain reactions across all others. A Euro Kairos led the charge into the nexus of eternal twilight, a reality suspended between day and night, where time flowed inconsistently. Relics here pulsed with gold tier and higher tier energy, each guarded by spectral manifestations of past ascendants, corrupted and weaponized by Verosa Euro S manipulations. Using resonant ascension, Kairos synchronized with the ambient spiritual currents and harmonized his limit break with the Relica Euro S pulse. Every strike, every movement, became a dance across warped temporal flows. Lyra Euro S remote shadow resonance provided anticipatory guidance, warning him of temporal distortions that could undo a step or render a strike ineffective. The battle was grueling, a clash of raw energy, strategy, and mental focus. Kairos discovered that the relic itself seemed to react to intent, forcing him to balance aggressive strikes with stabilizing harmonics to prevent catastrophic energy feedback. Leora infiltrated a realm of infinite mirrors, each reflecting potential futures. Here, relic fragments multiplied illusions exponentially, creating dozens of duplicates of herself and allies, some hostile, some benign. Shadow resonance evolved into phantasmal sync, allowing Leora to differentiate real threats from illusory ones, and to manipulate the mirrored reflections to guide her path. Each mirror was a test of perception, judgment, and emotional clarity. A Euro misstep, and she could be trapped within an infinite loop of her own doubts. With patience, precision, and mental fortitude, Leora secured the relic fragment, bending the reflections to stabilize the veil temporarily. Her victory created a ripple, reinforcing Kairos' Euro battle by providing stable currents he could synchronize with. Arindor faced a realm filled with collapsing libraries of knowledge. A Euro, each tome a potential relic, each scroll a trap of spiritual misalignment. Here, rogue ascendants acted as guardians, testing Arindor Euro's tactical mastery. Using conduit control, he channeled spiritual energy into environmental stabilization, redirecting energy flows from collapsing platforms and rogue relic pulses. Arindor Euro's ingenuity allowed him to harness knowledge as a weapon and shield simultaneously, proving that mastery over strategy was as crucial as limit break strength. Successfully securing the relic fragment, he reinforced both Kairos Euro and Lyra Euro's realms by sending stabilizing energy pulses across interdimensional currents. From his hidden sanctum, Veros observed. A Euro E impressive. A Euro but predictable. A Euro he activated a hidden device, sending a shockwave through the converging realities. Temporal flows accelerated, spectral guardians multiplied, and relics became unstable. Kairos felt the pulse in his limit break. If not handled with precision, the nexus could collapse, consuming everything within. Leora and Arindor echoed the warning. A Euro oh this is it, A Euro Kairos muttered. A Euro oh our limit breaks. A Euro combined, synchronized. A Euro this is the only way to stabilize the convergence. A Euro through omni-resonant ascension, the trio harmonized their energies across the 3 realities, creating a network of stabilization that countered Verosa Euro's chaos wave. The relics resonated with their combined intent, forming a temporary equilibrium. A Euro, a fragile victory, but one that halted the immediate threat. Back at Obsidian Gate, the trio collapsed in exhaustion. The convergence had been stabilized, but the cost was immense. Residual spiritual currents pulsed violently, and the relics were too powerful to move safely without additional preparation. Kairos held the scepter of Velfire tightly. A Euro Oave a Euro ve prevented Disaster. A Euro for now. But Veros isna Euro T finished. Hey a Euro S setting the stage for something that even we can a Euro T fully anticipate. A Euro Arahan Vale nodded. A Euro E indeed. What you a Euro ve faced is only a taste of the ascension beyond gold tier. The true trials will demand more than power. A Euro, they will demand judgment, foresight, and the ability to carry consequences that could span realities. A Euro in the shadows, Veros Malvina Euro's figure flickered across multiple planes simultaneously, a chilling reminder that his storm was far from over. A Euro oh the survived convergence. A Euro but the ascension ladder has many rungs yet. And the higher they climb, the greater the storm they will face. A Euro the energy tremors from the relic convergence still echoed across realities. Even Obsidian Gate Euro's massive wards struggled to contain the residual spiritual flux. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor gathered in the war room, studying reports of new anomalies. Overos. Isn't Euro T just destabilizing regions anymore? Arindor observed, tracing energy spikes on the map. Euro-S fragmenting the very structure of ascension itself. Territories are out of sync. Time flows differently, power hierarchies fluctuate, and some ascendants are reporting abilities they never had before or losing ones they should have. Lyra eyes narrowed. S like S rewriting the rules. This isn't Euro T just war S rewriting the ascension system to suit him. Kairos clench the scepter of Velfire. Then we adapt faster than he can. We Ve already synchronized across 3 realities. We LL expand, escalate, and anticipate. This is the next step. Fractured ascension. To counter the escalating threat, Arahan Vale introduced new ascendant allies. Solera, the Chronomancer, a gold-tier ascendant able to manipulate localized time flows, allowing controlled accelerations or decelerations of events in battle. Her precision was unmatched, but her abilities required immense concentration. Riven, the Echo Knight, a master of energy duplication and reflection. Unlike Seraph, Riven could harness enemy energy and convert it into defensive or offensive constructs in real time. Thyra, the Veil Seer, capable of sensing the convergence of realities and precognitive shifts in spiritual currents, providing strategic foresight and warnings of hidden traps. Together with Kairos Trio, they formed the Fracture Vanguard, a team designed to counter multi-reality manipulations. The first mission of the Fracture Vanguard took them to the Shattered Conflux, a node where multiple realities intersected unnaturally. Relics here had begun merging spontaneously, creating volatile energy storms that threatened to collapse entire dimensions. Kairos and Solera led the stabilization front, using resonant ascension in tandem with chronoharmonization, a technique Solera helped develop to synchronize time fluctuations with limit break energies. Leora and Riven handled defense and redirection. Riven S mirror constructs absorbed erratic energy pulses, giving Leora space to execute shadow resonance field, neutralizing hostile anomalies. Arindor and Thyra coordinated from a high vantage, using tactical flow mapping to predict energy surges and preemptively reinforce weak nodes. The battle was a symphony of coordination, energy manipulation, and multi-reality awareness. Each team S actions affected others in subtle but critical ways. Misalignment by a fraction of a second could destabilize the entire operation. From his hidden sanctum, Veyros watched with a calculating smile. The adapt impressively. But they still cling to the old rules. The storm I am preparing will not merely test tame it will force them to make choices no ascendant should ever face. He activated the Nexus Catalyst, a device designed to fuse relics across realities, amplifying limit breaks unpredictably while creating moral paradoxes. Manifestations that forced ascendants to choose between saving allies or stabilizing relics, between personal power or collective survival. As the Fracture Vanguard approached the Nodia S core, the Nexus Catalyst triggered. Spiritual currents twisted into impossible geometries, and spectral anomalies manifested with intelligence, exploiting doubts, fears, and insecurities of each team member. Kairos felt a surge in his limit break far stronger than before but its pulse was erratic. Using harmonic ascension, he attempted synchronization, but this time the stakes were higher. Every misalignment could fracture reality itself. Lyra S shadow resonance evolved into phantom sync, allowing her to separate true threats from illusions designed to exploit psychological weakness. Arindor and Thera S coordination became a lattice of predictive energy flows, countering destabilizing pulses before they erupted into catastrophe. As they reached the core, the Nexus Catalyst split into multiple potential paths. Each path required a different choice: contain the catalyst stabilize relics, but risk a massive loss of ascendant power in the process. Shatter the catalyst destroy it entirely, risking fractures across connected realities. Harness the catalyst attempt to use its energy to preemptively attack Veyros, risking corruption or loss of control. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor paused. This was no longer a test of skill it was a test of judgment, morality, and foresight. Every second mattered, and every decision would ripple across realities. Kairos gripped the scepter of Velfire. This is what Veyros meant by transcending gold tier. We have the power, but now we need the clarity. One wrong choice, and entire worlds fall. A Euro Kairos, Leora, and Arindor stood before the pulsing core of the Nexus catalyst. Its energy shifted constantly, reflecting potential outcomes across countless realities. Each pulse resonated with visions: a Euro, friends lost, powers corrupted, timelines erased. Solera spoke first, her voice steady but tense. A Euro, every option has consequences. Contain it, and we may lose critical limit break strength across multiple realities. Shatter it, and we risk tearing the Ascension framework apart. Harness it, and we might gain unmatched power: a Euro, but at what cost? A Euro Riven, his mirrored constructs reflecting the swirling energy, added, A Euro Overos designed this not as a trap for our bodies, but for our judgment. Hey, A Euro S testing our ability to act under impossible stakes. A Euro Thera Euro S eyes glowed faintly as she traced the converging spiritual currents. A Euro E and these stakes: a Euro they, a Euro Re, not just physical or temporal. Hey, A Euro S exposing the moral core of ascendance. Every choice will echo across realities, shaping the path of ascension itself. A Euro Kairos closed his eyes, letting the pulse of the scepter of Velfire synchronize with his limit break and the surrounding relic energies. For the first time, he tapped into resonant multiversal ascension, an evolution of harmonic ascension that allowed him to perceive and influence the flow of energy across parallel realities simultaneously. A Euro O, we contain it. A Euro, he said finally, his voice unwavering. A Euro O, stabilize what we can, and preserve the ascension framework. We Euro LL endure the loss of power, but we won't. A Euro T allow Veros to corrupt the entire multiverse for personal gain. A Euro Leora and Arindor nodded. Together, they poured their combined energy into the catalyst, creating a lattice of stabilization. Kairos channeled limit break resonance into the core, binding its erratic flows. Leora used Phantom Sync to distinguish true energy from illusions designed to manipulate fear and hesitation. Arindor projected stabilizing currents, reinforcing the lattice and redirecting destructive feedback. Solera manipulated localized temporal flows, giving the trio additional reaction time across converging realities. Riven converted excess energy into protective constructs, preventing the catalyst from overloading. Thyra anticipated sudden shifts, recalibrating their approach to maintain equilibrium. The Nexus catalyst: a Euro S pulse dimmed, and a calm settled across the node. Multiple realities stabilized, though residual fractures remained: a Euro, minor shifts in spiritual energy and temporal flow that would require continued monitoring. Kairos, exhausted but resolute, addressed the team. A Euro O preserved ascension, but this: a Euro, this was only a fraction of Veros: a Euro S storm. The choices will get harder. The consequences, heavier. We Euro Ve proven we can enter a Euro, but surviving isn't a Euro T enough anymore. A Euro Lyra, a Euro S eyes reflected the faint glow of residual catalyst energy. A Euro OE, a Euro S teaching us, shaping use: a Euro forcing us to think beyond power. We have to anticipate the next phase, or we Euro LL be caught unprepared. A Euro Arindor folded his arms, scanning the aftermath. A Euro E and the Shadow Sect isn't a Euro T finished. We Euro Ve seen only one layer of their plan. Veros has contingencies, hidden assets, and deeper relics we haven't a Euro T even sensed yet. The war has just escalated. A Euro from an unseen vantage beyond the stabilized realities. Veros Malvin observed the outcome, his face unreadable. A Euro O, they chose containment: a Euro predictable, yet wise. A Euro, he murmured. A Euro O, they, a Euro Ve grown stronger, but every decision leaves a trace: a Euro, a vulnerability. The next phase must exploit not their power, but their morality, their responsibility. The ascension ladder stretches higher, and I will see if they can rise without breaking themselves. A Euro in the Nexus catalyst: a Euro S wake, subtle distortions lingerate: a Euro, echoes of unfulfilled potential, whispers of realities that could yet fracture. The Shadow Sect: a Euro S influence expanded quietly, gathering resources, and preparing for the next inevitable confrontation. Kairos, feeling the weight of choice still resonating in his limit break, clenched the scepter of Velfire. A Euro O gold tier was just the beginning. Beyond this: a Euro everything will be tested. Power, judgment, and the very essence of what it means to ascend. A Euro the weight of the scepter of Velfire hummed against Kairos: a Euro S palm, a constant reminder that every decision now rippled beyond a single reality. Around him, Leora and Arindor exhaled slowly, their exhaustion mirrored in their taut expressions. Yet even in the silence, the remnants of the Nexus catalyst pulsed faintly, whispering of untapped potential and the dangers that lingered unseen. Kairos tightened his grip. A Euro Oave, a Euro Ve contained the catalyst. A Euro, he said, voice low but firm. A Euro O, but this: a Euro, this is only the beginning. Veros isna Euro T testing us for power alone a Euro, hey a Euro S testing our judgment, our responsibility. Every move we make now carries consequences we can't a Euro T yet foresee. A Euro Leora stepped closer, her shadowy aura flickering with residual energy. A Euro Oi can feel it too a Euro, the fractures arena Euro T gone. Some of the realities we stabilized area Euro unstable. Ida Euro S subtle, but the catalyst has left echoes, threads of possibility that could unravel if we Euro re not vigilant. A Euro Arindora Euro S gaze swept across the horizon, where faint distortions shimmered in the air, like mirages of what could be. A Euro E and Veros will exploit every one of them. We need to anticipate his next step. Waiting is no longer an option a Euro, we must act before he consolidates his advantage. A Euro just then, the air shimmered unnaturally, and a new presence made itself known. It was neither fully physical nor purely spectral, a messenger from the fractured realities themselves. Its form flickered, at times humanoid, at times shifting into chaotic energy patterns, and its voice resonated directly in the mind of each ascendant. A Euro O Kairos a Euro Lyra a Euro Arindora Euro the Shadow Secta Euro S influence spreads. Realities fracture. Relics awaken without masters. Those who were lost may yet return a Euro as enemies. You must ascend beyond gold tier, not merely in power, but in understanding. The next trials will demand that you wield judgment as deftly as strength. A Euro Kairos felt a chill. A Euro O they speak of trials we haven't a Euro T seen yet. A Euro he murmured. A Euro etrials that reach across worlds a Euro across possibilities. If we fail a Euro O you won't a Euro T. A Euro Leora interrupted, her eyes narrowing. A Euro O not if we face them together. We Euro Ve survive the shadow dimension, the Obsidian Spire, the Nexus Catalyst. Whatever comes next, we adapt. We overcome. A Euro Arindor nodded, his tactical mind already racing through possibilities. A Euro O but adaptation alone won't a Euro T be enough. We need foresight, strategy, and coordination across realities. We Euro re going to need alias a Euro, some we haven a Euro T even met yet a Euro, and relics we haven a Euro T fully understood. A Euro at that moment the Nexus Catalyst a Euro S remnants pulsed again. Kairos closed his eyes, reaching out with harmonic ascension, then resonant ascension, seeking threads of energy linking other realities. He felt them, faint, yet unmistakable a Euro, fluctuating energy patterns that corresponded to other ascendants, some allies, some unknown. The multiverse itself was beginning to react to Veros a Euro S machinations, signaling that the Shadow Secta Euro S plan was now fully multiversal. A Euro O Veros isna Euro T just building a storm. A Euro Kairos realized aloud. A Euro OE a Euro S rewriting the ascension hierarchy across realities. Every choice we make here, every fight we engage in, every relic we secure a Euro it matters everywhere. A Euro Lyra a Euro S shadow resonance shifted subtly, reflecting the cascading energies of parallel worlds. A Euro Oeve a Euro re not just fighting for one reality anymore. A Euro she said. A Euro Oeve a Euro re fighting for the stability of ascension itself. A Euro Arindor clenched his fists. A Euro O then we prepare. We find allies, gather relics, and strike before Veros can tighten his grip. The ascension storm is coming, yes a Euro, but storms can be weathered a Euro if you understand the winds. A Euro Kairos lifted the scepter of Velfire, its glow now faintly echoing with the lingering pulse of the Nexus Catalyst. A Euro O gold tier was only the threshold. Beyond this a Euro beyond this, we must ascend in ways no ascendant has before. Not just in strength, but in understanding, control, and unity. That is what it truly means to ascend. A Euro is the trio prepared to leave the Catalyst a Euro S location. Subtle disturbances in the air suggested that the Shadow Sect was already moving. Shadow operatives, relics, and manipulations of spiritual currents were converging in multiple realities at once. From the void beyond, Veros Malvin observed, his face calm, his eyes glinting with anticipation. A Euro O they grasped the meaning of power. A Euro he murmured. A Euro O but understanding a Euro that will be the real test. And soon, every choice will carry consequences they cannot yet fathom. Let the fractured ascension war begin. A Euro the sky above Obsidian Gate trembled, though it was clear no natural storm approached. Instead, the tremor was spiritual a Euro, a vibration across realities, a signal that the multiverse itself was responding to the Shadow Secta Euro S manipulations. Kairos stood atop the gate a Euro S observation spire, the scepter of Velfire in hand, its faint pulse now resonating with dozens of threads extending into parallel worlds. A Euro oh, this is it. A Euro, he said quietly, eyes scanning the horizon where faint distortions shimmered like heat waves. A Euro oh, the Ascension War. A Euro ida Euro s begun. A Euro lyra. A Euro s shadowy aura shifted, wrapping around her like a living cloak. A Euro oi can sense operatives across multiple realities already mobilizing. This is a Euro unlike anything we Euro ve faced. The battlefield isn't a Euro t just one city, one dimension. A Euro, ida Euro s everywhere. A Euro Arindor activated a series of tactical maps, projecting spiritual currents and relic energy fluxes into the air. A Euro O have to act fast. If Veros consolidates control over the fractured territories, these worlds could collapse entirely. A Euro, or worse, become weapons against us. A Euro Kairos clenched his fist. A Euro O, then we divide and conquer. But we need more than raw power now. We need alias a Euro, ascendants willing to risk their realities. And we need to understand the relics we Euro ve recovered. They arena Euro t just tools a Euro, they a Euro re the keys to stabilizing a Euro, or destroying a Euro, the multiverse. A Euro is the trio prepared, the Nexus catalyst. A Euro s remnants pulsed once again. From the energy streams emerged a series of faintly visible silhouettes, ascendants who had felt the disturbances across their own realities. Some were familiar faces, veterans of the Obsidian Gate campaigns. Others were completely unknown, yet their limit breaks radiated gold tier and beyond. One figure stepped forward, radiating energy that twisted the air around him. A Euro o Kairos, A Euro, he said, voice steady but deep. A Euro o Mael, ascendant of the verdant continuum. Your fight has reached my world. I bring both allies and knowledge of the shadow sect. A Euro s incursions here. A Euro, another, a woman cloaked in starlight, joined. A Euro o Nicera, warden of the temporal nexus. The fractures are widening. If we do not act quickly, Veros will control not just territories, but time itself across multiple worlds. A Euro Kairos nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility grow heavier with each arrival. A Euro O, then we coordinate. Leora, Arindor, focus on synchronizing limit breaks with our allies. A Euro LL interface with the relics and the catalyst threads. Every action we take must ripple positively across reality as a Euro, or the consequences will be catastrophic. A Euro, the team. A Euro s first target was a city partially displaced into a parallel dimension. Buildings floated in midair, tethered by unstable spiritual currents, while shadows moved independently, preying on fear and hesitation. Reports indicated that a shadow sect elite, Talith, the reality weaver, had anchored the city, using a relic to manipulate spatial and temporal flow. Kairos inhaled deeply. A Euro O, this will be our first test in the Ascension War. Every strike, every defensive action, must account for not just physical space. A Euro, but multiple layers of reality. One misstep. A Euro and this city could collapse into another world. A Euro, the battle erupted immediately. Talith. A Euro s attacks split reality like glass. Streets bent, buildings rotated midair, and spectral duplicates of the team were projected across multiple planes. Kairos pushed harmonic ascension to its limits, synchronizing not only with Leora and Arindor but now with Mael, Nicera, and several other allied ascendants. A Euro O, focus on the currents, not the forms. A Euro Kairos shouted. A Euro O, predict the flows, and the attacks will follow. A Euro Lyra. A Euro s shadow resonance intertwined with Nicera. Euro s temporal projection, allowing them to anticipate attacks before they materialized. Arindor coordinated energy currents with Mael, creating stabilized zones where allies could maneuver safely. After a grueling engagement, Talith. A Euro s relic anchor was destabilized, sending shards of energy cascading through the fractured city. Kairos directed a final coordinated pulse through resonant ascension, harmonizing the collapsing spatial currents and preventing catastrophic multiversal fallout. Talith vanished into a rift, leaving only the lingering echo of a warning. A Euro O, this is only the beginning. A Euro, the Ascension War will devour every world you cherish. A Euro, the team regrouped above the partially stabilized city. Kairos. A Euro s hands glowed faintly with residual limit break energy, still resonating with multiple realities. A Euro O, gold tier is meaningless here. A Euro Kairos murmured. A Euro Oave. A Euro re already beyond ida Euro, and yet, this is just the first battle. The Ascension War isn't a Euro t just about defeating enemy as a Euro, ida Euro s about understanding the consequences of every action across realities. A Euro Nicera added. A Euro Overos is preparing forces we haven't a Euro t even encountered yet. Fractured relics, displaced ascendants, worlds in chaos. A Euro, we have to move faster, think broader, and act as one across the multiverse. A Euro Arindor nodded. A Euro O, then we strike with precision, not just strength. Every mission, every engagement, must account for the broader consequences. The Ascension War isn't a Euro T won by might alone, a Euro, Ida Euro S won by insight, unity, and control of the multiversal currents. A Euro Kairos looked to the horizon, where rifts flickered faintly like distant stars. A Euro O then we move. Every reality matters. Every choice matters. And no matter what Veiros throws at us, we will receive Euro and ascend beyond limits no ascendant has yet imagined. A Euro the air across the fractured worlds thrummed with unstable energy. Each victory Kairos and his allies achieved in one reality caused ripples, sometimes minor, sometimes catastrophic, in neighboring dimensions. The Ascension War was no longer confined to a single battlefield, a Euro, it was a storm across the multiverse, with Veiros Malvin pulling every string, every shadow operative, every relic toward a single purpose. Kairos, Leora, and Arindor, now joined by Mael, Nicera, and other allied ascendants, stood on a plateau floating between two converging realities. The view was dizzying. Fractured skies, rivers of light bending into one another, and structures from separate worlds intersecting in impossible geometries. A Euro O, this convergence is unstable, A Euro Nicera said, her voice tinged with worry. A Euro O, Veiros is drawing energies from multiple worlds, merging them. One misstep, and these realities could collapse into each other, erasing everything. A Euro Kairos, a Euro S grip on the scepter of Velfire tightened. A Euro O, then we stabilize Ida Euro, not just with power, but with precise control. Harmonic Ascension, a Euro Resonant Ascension, a Euro Ida Euro S, time to evolve again. A Euro, from the swirling void, a new form emerged, the Shadow Conflux, an entity created by fusing the energies of several Shadow Sect elites. It was impossible to categorize a Euro, neither fully corporeal nor purely energy, constantly shifting shape and radiating chaotic relic energy. Its voice, when it spoke, echoed across dimensions. A Euro E Ascendance, a Euro you meddle in currents beyond comprehension. Every step you take fractures worlds further. Every strike you land feeds me. A Euro the Conflux launched an assault that split time and space itself. Rivers reversed, gravity twisted unpredictably, and shadow duplicates of every allied ascendant emerged from rifts to attack simultaneously. Even Kairos, a Euro S advanced resonant ascension struggled to adapt. Mael and Nicera coordinated their limit breaks to stabilize fragments of reality. Lyra, a Euro S shadow resonance amplified Kairos, a Euro S focus, allowing him to strike not just physically but across temporal and spatial layers. Arindor, always tactical, used the overlapping energy currents to create zones where allies could move safely, even as chaos raged around them. Kairos realized that the battle required more than resonant ascension. The fractured multiverse demanded a technique that could synchronize not only with relics, terrain, and allies, but with the very currents of reality itself. Drawing deeply from the scepter of Velfire and the latent energies of the allied ascendants, Kairos unlocked harmonic convergence. This new limit break allowed him to merge multiple threads of reality into a stabilized flow. Anticipate and neutralize attacks across dimensions before they manifested. Harmonize alias a Euro limit breaks to amplify their effectiveness exponentially. Temporarily anchor fragments of fractured worlds, preventing collapse. As Kairos unleashed harmonic convergence, a resonance spread through the battlefield, pushing back the shadow conflux and stabilizing several converging realities. Shadows dissolved, duplicated allies reformed into their true selves, and fractured structures realigned. The conflux recoiled, voice reverberating. A Euro Othis, a Euro is only the beginning. Veiros, a Euro the Ascension, a Euro they are beyond what you understand. The storm you believe you can weather, a Euro is eternal. A Euro before Kairos could strike a final blow, the conflux shattered into shards of pure energy, scattering across multiple realities. Some shards collapsed harmlessly, others disappeared into rifts, seeding new dangers yet to be revealed. Kairos lowered the scepter, exhausted but resolute. A Euro every victory now comes with consequences. Every battle changes the multiverse. But we will adapt, and we will rise beyond Gold Tiara Euro, and beyond even what Veiros imagines. A Euro Mael placed a hand on Kairos, a Euro's shoulder. A Euro the Ascension War is only beginning. But with your new limit break, and the unity of allied ascendants, we have a chance to not just fight a Euro but to survive, and to stabilize the worlds at stake. A Euro Leora looked toward the horizon, shadows curling around her form. A Euro then lead a Euro's move. Veiros will not stop, and neither can we. The multiverse depends on every choice we make. A Euro Arindor, scanning tactical projections from several realities, added gravely, A Euro prepare for the next convergence. The Shadow Sect is already mobilizing forces we have yet to comprehend. A Euro, and some may be beyond even harmonic convergence. Kairos inhaled deeply, feeling the pulse of infinite possibilities through his limit break. Then we step forward. No matter the fracture, no matter the storm, we will ascend. And this war will not break us. Weeks passed since the harmonic convergence battle, but the consequences of multiversal interference were everywhere. Entire worlds showed signs of instability. Cities hovered midair, rivers flowed backward, forests appeared overnight in deserts, and rogue spiritual storms swept through regions with no warning. Veyros Malvin had not been idle. He was orchestrating Relic Storm, a coordinated release of corrupted relic energy across multiple realities. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, Mael, and Nicera convened at Obsidian Gate, now acting as the central command for multiversal defense. Energy maps shimmered with red markers indicating unstable zones, relic anomalies, and potential shadow sect strongholds. Oave detected over 60 active relics across 4 realities, Arindor said, frowning at the data streams. If Veyros consolidates them, he could create a chain reaction, destabilizing dozens of worlds simultaneously. Nicera added, E and Ida S not just relics. His elite ascendants are acting as catalysts, spreading corrupted energy into strategic zones. Some of them may already be beyond gold tier now, fueled by multiple relics. Kairos clenched the scepter of Velfire, feeling the weight of responsibility. Then we divide and stabilize. Leora, Nicera, you secure the eastern and western nexus points. Arindor and Mael handle the southern realities. LL lead the northern front, tracking Veyros personal movements and intercepting any direct assaults. Kairos and his team arrived at a reality where entire cities floated like islands in an endless void. Rogue relic currents twisted the skies into jagged spirals, making navigation perilous. As they approached the largest floating city, they were met by Kalen, the Riftbreaker, an elite operative wielding a relic that could manipulate dimensional rifts, allowing him to summon duplicates of himself from alternate realities. Kairos immediately activated Resonant Ascension, merging with Leora and Arindor to coordinate attacks across multiple layers of reality simultaneously. Each strike Kairos launched was mirrored in timing and intensity, nullifying Kalina duplicates before they could overwhelm the team. But Kalina true weapon was a destabilizing pulse that threatened to collapse entire floating islands. Kairos tapped into harmonic convergence, anchoring the islands with synchronized spiritual currents, while Leora amplified the anchoring with shadow resonance. Arindor channeled protective energy to shield them from the ripple effects of collapsing platforms. After a grueling battle, Kalen was forced to retreat into a collapsing rift, leaving behind traces of a larger operation. Veyros was creating inter-reality chains, linking relics across worlds so that a single activation could trigger cascading catastrophes. As they stabilized one city after another, Kairos discovered a troubling truth. Some of the relics emitted energy that could cure reality fractures, but activating them also risked drawing Veyros' attention or causing side effects in neighboring worlds. During a critical moment, Kairos held a relic capable of stabilizing an entire floating metropolis but it required absorbing the life force of one ascendant for a temporary surge. The choice was clear: risk personal safety or allow millions of lives to be destroyed. Lyra's voice was calm but firm. Kairos sometimes ascension demands sacrifice. But wisdom is choosing when and how to use power. You must decide. Kairos felt the relic pulse in his hands, each beat a warning of both potential salvation and catastrophe. After a tense moment, he synchronized his limit break through harmonic convergence, linking not only his own energy but also the ambient currents from Leora, Arindor, and Mael. The relic stabilized the city without harming anyone, but Kairos knew the effort had pushed them all closer to their limits than ever before. As the team regrouped, Nicera reported, Shadow Secta activity across realities is coordinated, but we found a pattern. Veyros isna T just destabilizing worlds Heya collecting ascendants limit break energies to create a singularity of power. Every elite we fought, every relic activated, every battle Heya feeding it into a network designed to produce ascension beyond gold tier but without control. Kairos jaw tightened. The ascension war isna T just about conquest. Heya creating a new tier of chaos one that could break the multiverse itself if we don't T stop it. Arindor added gravely, E and every time we intervene, Heya learning. Hey Euro-S turning our actions into data, predicting how we Euro-LL respond, and preparing countermeasures. This war isn't a Euro-T just physical a Euro, it a Euro-S a test of foresight, judgment, and endurance. A Euro-Kairos looked over his team, each scarred by recent battles yet more resolute than ever. A Euro-O the Senshin War is no longer about surviving waves of enemies or mastering relics. Ida Euro-S about understanding the threads that bind realities, and using our limit breaks not just to fight a Euro, but to safeguard existence itself. A Euro-Mile nodded. A Euro-O then we strike at the heart. Veyros Malvin has a nexus point where the most powerful relics converge. If we can disrupt that, we may have a chance to stop the relic storm before Ida Euro-S too late. A Euro-Lyra Euro-S shadowy aura shimmered with anticipation. A Euro-E and we will face the shadow sect at their strongest. But now a Euro-We Euro-Re ready. Together. A Euro-Kairos tightened his grip on the scepter of Velfire, energy humming through his veins. A Euro-O the Senshin War is escalating. And beyond Gold Tiara Euro we will rise to meet it. A Euro the multiversal skies above the northern front shimmered with fractured energy. The Veyros Nexus, a convergence point of corrupted relics, radiated power that warped time, space, and the very essence of spiritual currents. Entire worlds seemed to pulse in resonance with the Nexus, trembling under the strain of accumulating energy. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, Mael, and Nicera approached cautiously, their combined limit breaks attuned to the Nexus a Euro-S chaotic flows. Each step was a test a Euro, gravity shifted unpredictably, platforms dissolved into spiritual currents, and spectral echoes of past ascendance appeared, as if the Nexus itself was judging their worth. Nicera whispered, A Euro-Othis is beyond anything we Euro-Vey faced. Veyros isn't a Euro-T just building power a Euro-Hey a Euro-S creating a multiversal feedback loop. Every relic, every limit break, every battle feeds into it. If it reaches full convergence, entire realities could collapse. A Euro-Kairos gripped the scepter of Velfire, eyes glowing with harmonic resonance. A Euro-O then we have to stop it before it reaches critical mass. Leora, synchronize with me. Arindor, stabilize the surrounding currents. Mael and Nicera, keep the perimeter secured. We can't a Euro-T let Veyros manipulate this nexus any further. A Euro as the team advanced, they were met by Veyron, Sereth, and Kalen, each now amplified by relic convergence. Their combined presence created distortions that bent the battlefield in impossible ways. Attacks looped back unpredictably, duplicates spawned from alternate realities, and environmental hazards materialized spontaneously. Veyron a Euro-S voice echoed across the shifting terrain. A Euro-O welcome, Kairos. You a Euro-Vey grown, but you are still tethered to limitations. Here, in the Nexus, even gold tier mastery is a child's play. A Euro-Sereth extended a mirrored gauntlet, replicating Kairos a Euro-S limit break attacks in real time. Kalen opened rifts to pull portions of the team into collapsing realities, forcing them to fight on multiple fronts simultaneously. Kairos activated Resonant Ascension, now evolved into Harmonic Nexus Flow, allowing him to not only merge with the battlefield and relic currents but also anticipate the shifting attacks of the Shadow Secta Euro-S Elite. Lyra Euro-S Shadow Resonance amplified his reach, synchronizing their attacks across multiple layers of reality, while Arindor stabilized collapsing platforms and redirected rogue energy surges. Mael and Nicera coordinated their own limit breaks to contain the environmental chaos, but the Nexus itself fought back, reacting to their combined energy. Every pulse of power threatened to tip the convergence into catastrophic feedback. In the heart of the Nexus, Kairos sensed the true cost of intervention. A relic of immense power a Euro, the Ascendant Prisma Euro, could absorb the Nexus a Euro-S energy entirely, but at the cost of temporarily suppressing Kairos a Euro-S limit break to near zero levels. Activating it without careful control could collapse nearby realities. Kairos froze, feeling the weight of the decision. Lyra Euro-S voice was steady. A Euro-Ida Euro-S not just about power. Ida Euro-S about choice. Do you act to save countless worlds and risk yourself, or wait and watch destruction unfold? A Euro Arindor added, A Euro every moment counts. Veyros will exploit hesitation. Only decisive, synchronized action can prevent catastrophe. A Euro after a tense heartbeat, Kairos raised the scepter of Velfire, channeling harmonic nexus flow through his entire being. Leora synchronized with him, Arindor reinforced, and Mael and Nicera stabilized the surrounding currents. The Ascendant Prism absorbed the Nexus a Euro-S energy, creating a massive pulse that neutralized the Shadow Secta Euro-S amplification, collapsing rifts and nullifying the converged relic power. The Nexus quaked violently before stabilizing. Veyron, Sereth, and Kalen retreated through rifts, wounded but alive, leaving behind fragments of relics too dangerous to recover immediately. Kairos, exhausted, felt the weight of harmonic nexus flow pull at his very essence. He realized that gold tier mastery was no longer sufficient to Euro. The Ascension War demanded not just strength, but foresight, judgment, and unity across realities. Nicera looked over the stabilizing multiverse. A Euro the Nexus is neutralized a Euro for now. But Veyros is still out there, preparing the next stage. And this a Euro this was only a taste of what lies beyond gold tier. A Euro Kairos looked to his team, hands glowing faintly with residual energy. A Euro Oave a Euro Vey survived the storm of the Nexus, but the war is far from over. Veyros is preparing something bigger, something beyond our current comprehension. We must receive Euro together, beyond gold tier, and beyond fear itself. A Euro from the shadows of a distant rift, Veyros Malvina Euro's laughter echoed across realities. A Euro O they a Euro Vey survived the Nexus a Euro but the true Ascension War is only beginning. Soon, every choice they make, every battle they fight, will shape the fate of existence itself. A Euro the aftermath of the Nexus left entire regions of the Ascension world destabilized. Spiritual currents fluctuated violently, relics awakened unpredictably, and fragments of collapsed realities hung like shattered mirrors over the horizon. The Shadow Sect, though weakened, had dispersed strategically, preparing new fronts across dimensions. Kairos, Leora, Arindor, Mael, and Nicera regrouped at Obsidian Gate. The Council of Ascendants convened urgently. Arahan Valea Euro's voice was grave. A Euro the Nexus was only the beginning. Veyros Malvin is no longer operating as a rogue ascendant a Euro, he is orchestrating a war across realities. Every relic, every elite operative, every shadowed corner of the Ascension is being mobilized. The time has come for the Ascendant Order to step beyond gold tier mastery. Transcendent tier limit breaks are no longer theoretical a Euro, they are necessary for survival. A Euro Kairos tightened his grip on the scepter of Velfire, its pulse resonating with the memories of the Nexus. A Euro O then we don't a Euro T just fight. We evolve, every limit break, every strategy, every alliance a Euro must rise beyond what we thought possible. A Euro reports came in from multiple realms. The shattered realms, where rogue spiritual energy tore continents apart, were being fortified by Shadow Sect operatives wielding relics that manipulated gravity and time. The Crimson Veil, a dimension where spiritual currents flowed like rivers of fire, had been infiltrated, turning natural energies into weapons of mass destruction. Entire Ascendant guilds were being corrupted or coerced, creating a multi-front war that stretched even the most powerful Ascendants to their limits. Kairos realized that coordination across realms would be essential. He established Harmonic Command, a network where limit breaks could synchronize across distances, allowing Ascendants in different realities to act as a single unit. Leora noted, A Euro if we can synchronize at this scale, even Veyros a Euro's strongest manipulations will be countered by our collective flow. But it will require trust, precision, and unity beyond anything we Eurovey attempted. A Euro Arindor added, A Euro E and it will test our moral boundaries. Every decision, every intervention, will ripple across realities. One miscalculation could destroy allies or entire worlds. A Euro training intensified. Kairos focused on resonant ascension, evolving it further into transcendent nexus flow, allowing him to merge his limit break not only with relic energy and spiritual currents but also with the latent potential of allied ascendants across multiple realms simultaneously. Leora discovered Shadow Nexus Amplification, a technique that could create semi-permanent bonds between her energy and Kairos a Euro's, allowing attacks to propagate across distances instantaneously. Arindor developed temporal convergence barriers, stabilizing multiple zones of volatile spiritual energy while redirecting destructive flows to minimize collateral damage. Nicera and Mael worked on advanced offensive techniques, focusing on dimensional synergy, where attacks could phase through multiple realities and strike enemies across layers of existence. The first coordinated counteroffensive targeted the Crimson Veil, where Shadow Sect operatives had weaponized the natural flow of spiritual rivers. Kairos led the strike team. Kairos and Leora synchronized Transcendent Nexus flow and Shadow Nexus amplification to destabilize the Secta Euro's control over the dimension. Arindor maintained temporal convergence barriers, redirecting rivers of spiritual fire while preventing reality collapse. Mael and Nicera phased through layered realities, striking the operative Essa Euro strongholds simultaneously. The battle was unprecedented. Entire landscapes shifted under the combined limit breaks. Relics unleashed previously unimaginable powers, and for the first time, Kairos experienced the true weight of transcendent tier power a euro, the ability to affect not just energy and space, but the flow of life and potential itself. Despite their success, the Shadow Sect retaliated with Veros a Euro's new elite cadre, each member enhanced by relics attuned to multiversal feedback. One operative, Nitherus, the Time Weaver, began manipulating causal flows, forcing Kairos and his allies to fight across multiple timelines simultaneously. Kairos a Euro's mind raced. A Euro Othis isna Euro T just combat a Euro ida Euro's existence itself being challenged. We need to evolve again, beyond just power a Euro, our judgment, foresight, and unity must become our limit break. A Euro as the dust settled, Kairos glimpsed a holographic projection emanating from one of the recovered relics, a schematic of Veros Malvina Euro's ultimate plan. The Shadow Sect aimed not just to dominate the Ascension hierarchy a Euro, they sought to create a transcendent tier singularity, a centralized point of infinite relic energy capable of reshaping all realities in their image. Kairos turned to his team. A Euro Othis is bigger than anything we imagined. We Euro re no longer just defending realms a Euro we Euro re fighting for the future of existence itself. Every limit break, every alliance, every choice we make will determine whether life serve of a Euro, or is rewritten by Veros a Euro's storm. A Euro.